Welcome back to Death Metal Daddies. I'm Jeff,
I'm Silas.
and you're listening to Death Metal Daddies.
Man, what a great
Welcome
song.
back.
Mm.
Episode 16 now. Look at
Wow.
us. Look at us.
I
Hey,
cannot believe we haven't been taken down yet.
hey, look at us.
We did get demonetized.
Yeah, it's whatevs though. We move on.
Mhm.
But hey, another week. How's your week been?
Pretty good, dude. I ordered some arrows and then received them like 2 days later. So like this place I go to for my archery, Three Rivers
Hmm.
Archery, they're based out of Illinois, but dude, they're fucking like rapid shipping, it seems like. I mean, obviously, like 2 days, or I mean, it may have been three. But anyways, really stoked about that. So I've been out in the yard kind of slinging those around and haven't lost one yet. So that's a great sign. Usually I'm like flinging them fucking way over the target or, wherever into the woods, and then they're just like gone forever.
I
Because like
gotcha.
it's insane how well an arrow can hide in like even freshly mowed grass. But like once that arrow like hits the ground just from that fucking speed, dude, it just slides right under it. Just it camos in. It's like gone forever. I have like probably four or five out there stuck in the lawn. And thankfully the lawn company that mows next there hasn't like chipped one up because it's like carbon. It's not just wood, so it'd probably fuck some shit up, I imagine. But
I gotcha. Has your bow always been in that background? Because I guess I just now noticed it when you were talking about your bow.
oh, no, it hasn't. But like one day I was just like here with like we were doing the Zoom and it was like right here and it's just like two doors. I was like, that view sucks. And so like I just went slightly this way. I was like, yeah, let's get that fucking bow in there. That bow's sweet. So yeah.
Yeah, all I did was switch the desk around, and if you can tell, to where
Yeah.
no matter what, Danny can go do her stuff, but also I can maybe put something back here. I got my Fit for an Autopsy poster from that one time we saw them,
Oh
and then when
yeah.
I got the Niles set list, maybe put some actual decoration behind me instead of just. I think we're
Um.
still in your week.
Oh. Yeah. Been slinging arrows. Let's see. Yeah, I'm excited about that. Oh, got some new landscape edging. I'm really excited to get it installed. Right now, I just have that no dig shit that it's just like all plastic, comes with like those spikes. And like at first, I was like, oh, this is gonna be badass. It's gonna work out great. But we used it to like hold rock, and it fucking like tips over in like a year, under a year. It sucks. Weeds are growing up. So, anyways, got new landscape edging that's much deeper, and so it's like metal, so it should hold rock a lot better. But just one of those old man things that I'm excited about.
I gotcha.
Um, Other than that, I don't think anything comes to mind right now. What about you?
Uh, don't have too much going on. It's wedding season again for Danny, so she's been a little bit more busy. So I've
Mm,
had I think it was Saturday. She had to wake up early and didn't come home until midnight because it was like an all-day wedding on the other side of Missouri.
wow.
So it was just a whole day of all three kids. Thought I was going to be overwhelmed. It wasn't too bad this time. So got to really
Did
dad
you
it
have
up.
to? Did you have to nurse?
No, I just we already had all the frozen breast milk, and then I just had to lift my nipple and pretend it's not really,
Yeah.
but just but yeah, just I figured out because he's kind of a Velcro baby, he has to be held the entire time, and I'm very
Hmm.
much a I have to get up. I'm either gonna get up and do something and get stuff done, or I'm gonna lay down all day, and I can't really do that with watching all three kids. So I just had him in the baby carrier on my chest all day, and he loved it. It was great.
Man,
I
those
got
things are
hot all day,
handy, aren't
but
they?
oh yeah. I mean, they're kind of annoying to put on at first, but as soon as they're in there, you get
Yeah.
it's game over. I can get a lot
I
done.
mean,
Although he doesn't let me sit down if I'm wearing him. Like he
Yeah.
just does not seem to like that.
I don't know if we just haven't tried the right brands of those things, maybe, but like I feel like they always advertise and look a lot better than they actually kind of work to be. Like the ones that are chest to chest are great for like if they want to nap or something. But it almost seems like the nap, like they get really uncomfortable, their face is like buried, so you're like having to kind of check on them. But anyway, I think the chest to chest ones do work better than the ones where they're facing forward, but I
Hmm.
feel like they want to face forward the most, you know?
Hmm.
But like we got one and like with Stella, her legs are like freaking just
Yeah.
side to side. So it's like that doesn't look comfortable at all. Like they
Hmm.
need to have like little leg chutes at the front, and
Yeah.
almost just kind of like a seating platform or something installed in there.
I feel like I've seen some like I think they're really expensive since they're fancy, but one of the ones where like it's almost like you have your own bodysuit, they have their own bodysuit, and you like tie
Mm.
it together like in clips and stuff. I feel like that would be better because then
Velcro.
they are fully free. Yeah, just Velcro, just like those old tennis balls and the little mitt with the Velcro. You throw it.
Yeah, those things are tight.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like I've seen those, but those are way too expensive. We've tried to do forward facing. It was easy when he was like newborn. You can kind of like curl his
Mhm.
feet up inside it. It's not going to bother him. Now he's getting older. He can't really do that. So it's purely face to face. But I mean, it keeps him calm. Because I'm probably, you probably guys probably did the same thing when he was born skin to skin. So I think kind of, I don't know, maybe it reminds him. I don't know. Maybe it's a calming, soothing thing for him having that chest to chest. So I mean, I'm not walking
Yeah.
around chest or shirtless with them, but
Yeah. No, I think it's probably like a comfort and little added aspect of comfort, but um, yeah, I don't know. We also tried, I remember trying this thing called like a Moby wrap, but it was
hmm
like fucking like 15 feet long. I feel like you had to wrap it like around your body 20 times just to get
yeah,
it to work right. And there's all kinds of different variations you could do and shit, but it just, no matter, it was just such a pain in the ass. I think we just ended up giving up on it. Did you
I
guys
think
use one of
that's what
those?
we got. That's what we got first because I think we even had that for when we were at your guys' wedding. And at first, it's like, oh, this is the
Mm,
greatest thing ever. Then after a while, it's like you have to remember,
yeah.
it's like, all right, if I want it this way, I have to do this. It's almost like trying to memorize all these knots for this one thing you're only going to
Yeah.
use for a short period of time.
Yeah. Right, exactly. Yeah, that's the thing about the newborn stage, man, is it I think goes by the quickest.
Hmm.
It's like before you know it, they're up and moving.
Yeah, because he's already now sitting up on his own, which is already kind of it's
Oh
I
wow.
was got all excited, but at the same time it's making some things harder. Like when I try to give him a bath in the seat,
Oh,
he's already
dude.
trying to get up out of it, and he can't really balance himself. So I have to make sure he doesn't fall into face first into the
Oh,
water.
it's the hardest. That's like the hardest age to bathe,
Hmm.
one of them. Like Stella right now, she's like a year and she'll be 2 in December, but so she's like she's mobile, she's walking and semi jumping, but now like just tonight she was trying to jump in the tub. Like, holy shit, man. It's water and like Lux, like we had with her literally around that age, around 2, she was jumping in the bathtub right after a bath. Water's drained, but it's still slippery. She's like, "Look, I'm jumping, I'm jumping," and literally, boom, smacks her face and fucking chips her tooth, stabs the other tooth through her lip. It's horrible, horrible shit to experience. But and she had to like go get dental work done, and so now she has like a chipped tooth right in front, and it's from that. But it's just so it's like PTSD freaking trying to give these kids baths. But what do you do? I mean,
Yeah, at
they
least
get
it's
better with age, at least.
yeah, at least it is her baby tooth because and not like her permanent adult
Yeah,
teeth. Because that would be
yeah, no,
that
yeah,
would suck.
that would
Walking
suck.
around your
Yeah,
entire life, like, yeah, I chipped his tooth when I was a tiny kid.
yeah. Well, I always like being like the real stupid dad too. So like when it happened, I was like, I was telling Lex, I was like, "Do you think her adult tooth's gonna come in chipped?" You know, just like, oh,
I
obviously,
had
I don't think it would. I mean, maybe.
I had that same question, but it was with Annie when she was a kid. We first took her to the dentist, And they're like, "Oh, she's got some cavities." And I thought, okay, I mean, they're baby teeth. Why? Like, we got to fill them. Why? They're going to lose them in like two
Yeah.
years. Like, well, you got to do it.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Right.
So we
Yeah, I
filled
think
five
that's
cavities for
that's
$300.
oh my gosh. And
Like,
then she
and she was at an
lost
age,
in the next year.
yeah, she's going, and she had, since she was so young and her teeth are so close together, they had to like actually take her to the hospital and put her under to do it. Like,
Oh
is
geez.
is this really
That
worth?
sucks.
I don't understand that
Right.
purpose. Like, I understand maybe worrying about if it gets too deep and get into the nerve, but I mean, I
Yeah.
don't think it's that bad. If you just find a tiny cavity, I don't see it being that big of a deal. But I've also heard other people have gone
Yeah.
to the same dentist and had the exact number of cavities found on their kids. So I don't know if it's a racket or not, but well,
Mm,
we don't go there anymore because we moved. But
yeah. No, I definitely think that, it as far as like prevention from causing pain, I could see that. But, they're obviously going to lose those teeth, so I mean, I don't know. I guess that's just up to the how bad the situation is really. But
mhm.
yeah, no.
Yeah, that's what I
But
did
yeah, so
Saturday.
like
Oh,
what?
oh no, go ahead.
What'd you do Saturday?
Well,
Did you
that's what
say
I did
guess what I
Saturday
did?
was that's what I did Saturday was just watch the kids.
Mm,
Then today I had to go to Jeff City for uh chapter two physical at state.
mm.
So I
Is
was up
that where
there
they
for
grew up your balls?
no, it's just like the whole like military, like they do every kind of physical checkup. They do drug testing, make sure you don't have any like hidden injuries. Like they'll test your like mobility, hearing test, vision test. Um, I'm surprised they didn't do any blood draws, but just had to do all that. And then also like
Hmm,
mental health check. They ask you a bunch of questions and stuff like that. So other than that,
nice. Did you
is
pass?
huh?
Did you pass?
I guess so. They said, "All right, here you go." Well, what sucked was, so I wore my contacts, not thinking about it at all. I was like, "All right, I'll just tell them I can't see the top letter." That's what I typically do with these things. Like, if I take my contacts out, I can see the top letter, and that's it. And they're usually like, "Okay." Well, I go in there, and the guy's like, "You wearing contacts?" Yeah. He's like, "I need you to take them out." All right, so I take them out, but obviously I wasn't preparing for it, so I'm just holding two contacts on my fingers, and I'm doing this test, and he's like, "All right, put them back in."
Wow. Oh, are
He's
you
like,
serious?
"Oh, okay." So I put them back
Was
in.
he just trying to be a dick?
No, but that's just how it kind of is. Like, well, I mean, these are circumstances. This is what you have to do. You just kind of deal with it, kind of thing. That's just how it is. Like, all right. He's
It's
like,
a
"Do you
good
need a
thing you
minute?"
didn't scratch your ass for that.
Yeah. I was like, "Well, let me go to the sink and get these at least wet." So I just ran some water and put
Yeah.
it back in there. Vision's all fucked up because I'm pretty sure they turned inside out. I have astigmatism, so that had to be weighted. I think that all got all fucked up. It's like, all right, do a vision test with your contacts. And I did it. And it's like, your prescriptions, you need a new prescription. You're 20/30 in this side, 20/40 in this side. Like, yeah, everything's fucking blurry right now.
Oh my gosh.
Like, I'm
So like
surprised
you
you don't
didn't
have a
tell him
headache.
like, hey, you didn't tell him like, hey, I need a few minutes. These have got to set.
No, because I don't think they ever
You
said
don't
it
have
was the
like a
fact.
couple minutes in that situation? Or-
I think the left one finally said, but I think the right one was inside out because again, I was holding them with just my fingers, so trying to like make sure they don't fall on the
Oh
dirty
man,
ass floor.
right. Yeah.
I was
I've
at that
definitely
point, I was
been
just like,
there.
I don't care. I'll pass either way. I can, if it's an issue, I'll come back with my glasses. Not a big deal to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I instantly notice it whenever it's like inside out and it won't set right because I have astigmatism also. So it's like it's got to set, but I can already like usually pretty instant tell if it's like fucked up because it'll just bug the shit out of me. I won't even be able to keep my eyelids closed without it bugging me.
Yeah. Well, I've noticed like sometimes if they're in wrong, it's the same as if they're getting old. because I think that stigmatism is
Mm-hmm.
not, it's never actually fully sets once it gets so old. And sometimes I'm cheap and don't want to get more contacts, so I'll try to make them last as long as possible. So I don't know if that's what was going on with it or if it actually.
I'm sure
Uh,
that everyone tells their eye doctor the same shit that has contacts. That, I feel like there's a lot of people that get that 6 month supply and they stretch it to last a year, like I
mm-hmm.
do.
Yeah, because
Because
the
my
insurance
doctor
only
will,
pays about half usually.
yeah, I don't, shit, I don't even have insurance, so I've just been like trying to, I'll tell them, no insurance. Do you have a sliding scale fee? Basically, what's the funny thing is, if you don't have insurance, they're like, oh yeah, sliding scale fee. So basically, it's income based. It's like, why aren't we all just doing that instead of paying out the ass for anyways? So
Yeah,
that could be a whole nother conversation.
but
But
yeah,
um yeah, I'll see my doctor once a year. They're like, "Oh, so you just want another 6 months supply then, huh? Not a year? No, I'm good. I'll just do the 6 months for now." It's like they can obviously see my record. It's just like once a year, once a year, once a year. So,
yeah.
like, yeah,
With
I really I put in a lot of glasses time. So, I'm not always wearing my contacts. And like one time the doctor changed and I don't know if you do this, but contact wearers are supposed to, before and after they take them out, place the contact in the center of your palm, squirt the solution, and rub with your fingertip the protein out of the lens. I didn't do this for a long time. Yeah, forever. And I started to when that doctor came in because she was just like, I was like, I really don't wear my contacts too often, so I just happen to have them in today. She's like, all right, take them out for me. And she like picked them up, looked at them in her palm. She's like, oh my gosh, there's protein caked all over this lens. I was like, really? She's like, yes. And she's sitting there just cleaning it. And then you just see like these white suds and like foam all around her palm. It's the fucking protein that accumulates on the contact. I was like, holy shit, dude. That's crazy. I was like, so you're supposed to do this every day, huh? She's like, yes. She's like, before and after you wear contacts. I was like, oh, damn. I've definitely not been doing that. So I don't know.
yeah, my insurance. So all my insurance is free because of my job. But with that, when it comes to vision, they don't take it seriously at all. To where it covers the exam if it's in network, but not glasses or contacts at all. So all that is purely out of pocket.
Oh, and it's all fucking expensive as shit.
Hmm.
I paid close to $500 for my last pair of lenses.
Man.
So it's like, but and I, and I don't even know why. I think there was like a scratch resistant thing in there, film or some shit. They're not even transitions or anything. But it's like I'm sitting there literally taking this pair of glasses like I've never have before in my life, doing the spray with the microfiber cloths. Like I don't wipe them with shit else other than that. And like I just place them ever so carefully, wherever I need to, because I'm like, oh, this is a piece of gold right here. This cannot break. But dude, it's insane. But yeah, I would still rather have it that way than have an outrageous fucking monthly fee. That's, I don't
Yeah.
know. Yeah, if you're in a good job like the state, that was great. It was like $2 a month or something ridiculous like that.
Hmm.
I can't remember. So yeah, there's definitely places where it's great, but if you're like me and you don't have a job that offers insurance and you have to go find it yourself, good luck. It's like, and what I hate is that nowadays, for some reason, they want to tie a health tax credit to it. So now it's part of your taxes. Like, and I guess it kind of was when the Obamacare rolled out too. That's when they first started implementing that. But that year, I got fucked because I didn't have insurance for 1 year and it cost me like $600 out of my taxes. It doesn't happen anymore. It hasn't since then. But anyways, but now they tell you, oh, you can get insurance for as low as $10 a month. Well, what that is really that insurance is $410 a month, and you get this. insurance tax credit that it knocks out the $400. But I'm just like, what? Why? What's going on here? Why is this tied to my taxes now? Like, I don't understand that. It's weird.
Hmm.
But I guess, yeah, you probably never had to mess with this because you're military, so I don't know. So yeah, I've
Yeah.
never. Oh, by the way, random sidetrack, but Josh and Sean, or Josh, kind of offered to volunteer their efforts to make us a theme if you wanted them to make one for the
Oh, like
podcast.
a song or
Uh,
like the
yeah,
okay.
just like an intro clip thing.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
instead
I'll
of just using that track,
keep it fresh.
yeah,
I was also wondering if
yeah. I
we
mean,
have
and maybe we can do it like
good.
every so often, have them make a new one.
Yeah, that would be
That'd
cool.
be
I
kind of
was
cool.
also wondering, and there's nothing wrong with what you made. I was just this is a thought I had for something I've had for a while. If we have any artists who can do like a death metal style logo of like
Hmm.
usually for like band names, almost like how Undeath has theirs, or like kind of like
Single
the
sugar
more
bug.
yeah, something like that, but to where it's a little bit legible, to where you can still read it and identify it, but with our name. So I was thinking of having the
Yeah.
death metal like that, but then Daddy's almost be like a balloon art style, kind of like Party Cannon,
Oh yeah, that'd be cool. I like that.
something like
Yeah.
that. Because
So
my
hey, shout out to any artists out there that are listening to the podcast. Maybe we
yeah,
can get
because
one for free.
my plan originally was to have something like that, then put it on like a baby onesie, and then like actually put it on baby with like all the food and stuff, to where in the picture is just the dirty onesie with that logo. That was my original plan for a logo.
Okay. That's cool. Yeah, I like that idea.
I tried doing it through AI art. Sorry for those that might be butthurt from that. However, that's what I tried to do, and I could not get a single like serious. Like some of them were dumb as shit. Some
Oh
of them
yeah,
were
I bet.
like the. I think we even talked about those dumb memes with the fire skulls.
Yeah,
Just
I
some of them
know.
came up like that, and it's like
I
this
know.
is not what I'm asking.
I got like the same result. I asked it to do the same thing actually, and I got a three-piece band that was playing, and they all had shitty, cheesy outfits. Like they were all like skeleton beefy guys, but they had like skeleton Ghost Rider flame heads with leather spiky jackets, and they're all like a mad face playing their instruments. I was like, and it's at a concert, like they have a crowd around and everything. I'm like, what the fuck is this? I don't know. So. But yeah, very random. I was like, wow.
Yeah, if there's any artists who are good at drawing band logos, if we could get something like that, we would very much appreciate it.
Faux show.
So, unless you have anything, are you ready to move on to new releases? We have a somewhat long list.
Yeah, sure. Let's get into it.
All right. You want to start off by what was your favorite release from this playlist?
Single or album?
Let's
I think
do
it's
album.
mostly albums. Yeah,
Yeah, I think we
I
only
think
have
it's
the one
mostly
single
albums with
that
me.
you added, or I guess
Yeah.
technically we have two. There was the one
Oh,
you
okay.
added, and then Many
Uh,
Eyes released a new single, so I just put all their singles that they've previously released on there.
okay.
So you want to
Nice.
start off with singles?
Um, yeah,
That's
sure.
how we usually do it.
Yeah.
First up, we have Always Watching You. You mentioned this by Escula Grinder. How are you? Escula.
El Escuela Grand.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Badass band, man.
Mm-hmm.
Really, I was just reading the lyrics before we started tonight, and I fucking love that song, dude. It's a badass jam. It really is. The video is really cool. I guess she's like a stalker, um, talking about like getting back, just like kind of getting revenge or whatever sort of vibes, but really cool. I love her flow, I think, more than anything in the song. I think it's very unique, but it gives me big new metal vibes and almost like I don't want to like, taint their presence or anything or her style, but like I really kind of heard some Corey Taylor-ish
Okay.
patterns in there. Did you listen to this track?
I did. I'm having a hard time remembering it. there was a lot of music on here this week. But I do remember liking it, and because they're a band I've always kind of liked. They did get a lot of hype for a short time, but then they had that one stuff happen. So I feel like it's fresh now. I can actually like it. I don't have to deal with all like it's living up to the hype kind of thing. So I do like what I'm hearing, and I do
Yeah.
think once the album drops, it will be very exciting. I think that is something we'll probably very much have to go over once it comes out. When does it come out again?
I think we talked about it last episode. Was it September 6th? Or am I getting that confused with another release?
I think
That
that's
might be,
Nails.
yeah, or Peeling Flesh.
Yeah, the
Maybe it's both.
Escuela Grind. I
I have
remember we
not looked
found,
up. They have a timer on their Spotify for it. I know
yeah,
that.
57 October 18th.
But with this track, Always Watching You, I was hooked when I listened to it at work, and I like jammed it a couple times the first time I heard it, and I've been jamming it since then, like just going back to it. Like I already loved just listening to it, but like this is one of those tracks like the video like just confirmed it for me. Like it's really good production quality and it just looks great. Like it's kind of messy, like when the band's playing and shit, just looks really fucking aggressive. Like even the riffs in the song, dude, are just crunchy as hell. But I don't know, man. Yeah, it just got me real stoked for their release. But it makes me wonder, like, how do these new bands like that, like, I feel like they're just about to catch a wave where they're gonna get real big. Maybe. I don't know. That's total speculation. But they have like such a great video. I'm like, usually you don't get that with like lower bands, but right whenever they drop a fucking banger video, they blow up. Signs of the Swarm with David Simonic and that video, Malevolent Enslavement, is
Hmm.
like the prime example that I'm thinking of. I just that for me anyways, that video really drew me in to that sound like whenever they came out and I became obsessed.
Yeah, and I think
But
with
I
Signs of
don't know.
Swarm, I think they even their previous releases, I feel like had kind of like that HD music videos, and I almost
Yeah,
wonder
they
with
did.
them if it had to do with something. Maybe someone had to sell a lot of money uh, from like I don't know outside the band, or if it was a family thing. Skila Grind,
I
I
guess
think
that's
it's
probably like record label, right? I mean,
true.
it's probably like a record label deal too. Like, oh, we'll get you a badass video of like, as part of the
Yeah,
signing or some shit. I don't know.
with a Skila Grind though, I think it could be a mix of both because I think a Skila Grind kind of uh, have they had a lot of EPs and like underground stuff. I think I don't know. I just see looking at Spotify, they have a lot of EPs kind of building up to their albums. So I think maybe all that kind of has helped build them up a little bit more to where either record label or if it is themselves a little bit of money, whichever it is, gives them a little bit more backing to be able to do that. I think, at least just from how I'm viewing them, I might be way off because I only found out about this band last year, so it's still
Yeah,
they're still new to me.
yeah, for sure. Definitely me too. But since this songs came out, I've done like a deep dive and just played their Spotify main tracks that you go to the band, it just brings up their biggest hits or whatever. This song, out of all of them, had like the best sound overall, in my opinion,
Hmm.
of what they've done. So yeah, man, all the more reason to get pumped for that release. But yeah,
Hmm.
I'll be watching them. Sorry.
What did you think of the new? I guess I put a bunch of singles on it, but the new music from Many Eyes.
I didn't make it there. I'm sorry.
Okay,
I saw I
so
saw that you added it, but I did not check it out. My bad.
I I was kind of wondering if you would or not because I know the album cover kind of gives off a certain vibe, but
Yeah, I saw it looked unique. What was it again? Exactly.
so this is remember how we talked about Better Lovers is like all the band members from Every Time I Die. This is the singer
Yeah.
from Every Time I Die's new band.
Oh, Keith Buckley.
Hmm.
Okay.
So it's his new
Okay.
band with some just kind of random people. Yeah, the new song they released, I put a bunch of them on there. I really only checked out two of them. It was so the newest song is Harbinger, Is that how you pronounce that word? I know what it means, but is it Harbinger or Harbinger? Harbinger?
Huh. Yeah, I would assume Harbinger.
Okay.
That's how I've heard it before. So,
So it was pretty
but
heavy and
Harbinger might be more entertaining.
Harbinger. Yeah, Harbinger. I liked it. I like the aggressive Keith Buckley screams. He sounds even more kind of relentless on this than he has in past Every Time I Die stuff, except for like their early stuff. So I like that
Nice.
part. Um, and same with I think it was Future Proof. It's more of a catchy rockish song, not really hard at all, kind of more softy, more of his melodic side. But listening to
Hmm.
this, it makes me realize that Every Time I Die had the best of both worlds. It had great riffage, really great instruments mixed with Keith's great vocals and lyrics. So splitting them apart kind of makes it hard to choose which one's better, kind of thing. Because Better Lovers, I love Greg Puciato, and loved him in Dillinger, but something feels off with him in Better Lovers. Like their heavy stuff is great, good, but when they do more of just the slower rock stuff, I'm not as too into it. With
Hmm.
this, it's kind of the same thing. I love it when he screams and is heavy, but the instruments are feel like are I'm they're lacking compared to what Every Time I Die was when he was with them. But
Just not there.
yeah, all in all, though, I do like it. Still makes me miss Every Time I Die, though. So, but
Yeah,
I gotta get what they give me. So,
right. You know, one super group that's still, I think, prominent as far as their members go is that was really killer when they came out with the release is Killer Be Killed with Greg
yeah,
Puciato and Max Cavalera. Shit, who else was in that band?
Troy Sanders,
Yeah, that's right.
and then they also had the drummer from Mars Volta, but I guess he stepped down and now it's the drummer from Converge. So it's
Oh,
like
okay.
all four great bands. Are they
Yeah.
still doing stuff? I know they came out with that second album, but I haven't heard
I,
anything since.
yeah, I don't know. Same. And I know they toured initially when they first dropped that I think first album, but yeah, I don't know. I haven't heard any buzz since then. But I do remember them having a badass sound together.
Hmm.
Especially because you got three dudes that are all putting in vocal work too, and it's just like it's a wild group of three. Like I don't know. They all have such unique styles, but it makes a great blend, I think.
Hmm. I almost feel like their vocals with that band, it's almost like a spectrum. You have Max, who's just like super raw aggressive. You got Troy,
Yeah,
who's more of like a stoner. He can be aggressive, but it's more stoner rockish. And then Greg is somewhere in between. So I feel
yeah,
like it is a good spectrum to where he can kind of bounce with the melodic side, or if he can go the aggressive side.
for sure. That's such a badass line, dude. One of my
Hmm.
favorites of his. Like, oh shit, yeah.
I do. That does make me want to go back to that album. It's been a long time since I've listened to that one.
Yeah. That fucking song, what is it called?
Um,
Snakes of Jehovah or some shit like that?
I think that is it. Because I remember the other big one was Wax from of Feathers,
Yeah,
and
no,
then there
that's
was
right.
that one, the Snakes of Jehovah.
Yeah.
Are
Ripper album.
you ready to get to the full albums?
Yeah, let's do it.
So, what was your favorite album of this week?
Fucking Extinction AD. Hell yeah, dude. I was not expecting that. I knew the name, but after, as soon as it started playing, dude, I got so pumped and so hyped. I was like, oh, fuck yes, dude. It is like such a fresh album. Like, I don't know. I've never listened to this band before, and I couldn't believe that I haven't. You know, when I heard it, I don't know. It's just what an epic sound they had. It's like it's almost in the vein of Trivium, but they're heavier and I think more badass.
Hmm.
But he's got a really great vocal for thrash, but even like is heavier than typical thrash bands, I think, you know. They're just bringing a lot of aggression in that music, and I fucking it just instantly got me going, dude. Absolutely loved it. Makes me want to delve through their history because I think they've been around for a while, right?
I'm not too sure. This is the first time I've heard of them because I think whenever I saw the name, I always confused it with Entombed at 80.
Mm,
Uh, but I mean, I'm not sure if they have more albums. I don't know. I didn't look too much into them past this album. But yeah, I did really like this album. This is probably there's only two albums on this list I listened to multiple times all the way through, and this was one of them. Yeah, a very I got the vibe of almost like a heavier uh version of Municipal Waste, almost like a fun party vibe, but still like heavy and
yeah.
thrashy. Especially with the song "The Escape from New York," I got that vibe very hardcore. Um,
Yeah. That was like a random one that I was like, I heard that in the chorus and I was like, did he just like scream about Escape from New York? I was like, okay, but it's cool. I mean, it sounded badass. I was like, it's sweet. That's right on, man.
I am a little confused on the song. At first, I thought, is this a cover? Burnt Sienna, when it comes in with the Spanish lyrics, the chant.
Yeah, and the really tribal drum beat and shit.
Yeah, because at first I thought it was like, is this like a Sepultura cover of a song don't know? But I couldn't find another song. Like it's not a Sepultura song that I can see. I thought, well, maybe it's where they're from. But I looked them up and they're like from New York, so I don't understand where that's coming from. It, uh, I didn't look in the lyrics, and maybe there is something tied to the lyrics or something. But that was a little
Okay.
curveball for me.
Yeah, and looking back now, I just brought them up on Spotify. They have not been around for a while. They are actually a pretty new band. It looks like their
Really?
first album dropped in 2015.
Okay, I
So,
gotcha.
yeah. They have a very but I was thinking they were old because of the logo. The logo looks like it was designed in like the 90s or something, you
I
know?
think maybe that's part of their appeal because they also have that
Aesthetic.
older sound, kind of
Yeah,
like
they
a
kind of
throwback
do.
sound. But
Yeah.
I think it works, especially with the. I really what drew me in because you sent me that text like, all right, I hadn't listened to it yet by that time, so to put on that the opener, Desperate Grasp, and that kind of draws you in. It's like, okay,
It
this
just
is gonna
sucks
be
you in,
good.
dude.
Yeah,
Yeah. Hell
yeah.
yeah.
This
And
I
then
recommend this album. It's just came out August 16th on Unique Leader Records, another great record label releasing another great banger. Extinction AD. What was the name of this album again? Is it
To the
Detest?
Detested.
Yeah, good album.
And I mentioned the Trivium kind of in the Trivium realm. Matt Heafy's actually on a track on this. I didn't even know that. Impervious.
Yeah, I see that now. I want to say this was something because I saw the title Impervious, and then I saw the parentheses, and I thought, oh, it's an instrumental. 'Cause as soon as I see I don't know if you want to call it dyslexia, but I automatically thought because I was working out listening to this, like, oh, it's just gonna be an instrumental, whatever. But no, that song kicked ass too.
Yeah. Yeah, like every song on here kicks ass.
Hmm.
Like there's not one like I listened to this album all the way through and was like thoroughly happy with it. And I have to say that the favorite I can dig every single aspect of this band, but mostly I think I love the drumming. I don't know who this drummer is, dude, but he is a fucking ripper on the drums. And even his drum sound, or the production sound on this whole album is like, it's amazing, I think. Every single instrument. But I like the drums and then the vocals, I think is just it's just a great fucking combo, man. He just gets me pumped. But yeah,
I got you.
badass
Um,
album. Check it out if you haven't.
so that was probably my second favorite one. My first favorite one is would be the new album by Dark Tranquillity. That was the first
Really?
album. I was surprised. I didn't
Wow.
know anything about this band. I knew they are an older band, and I want to say they're part of the Gothenburg mellow death scene with like In Flames and At the Gates. I know those
Mm,
ones. I never listened to this band. Um, I was surprised because, as you can probably tell, this isn't my typical thing I like, but I think it's a nice blend. Uh, as opposed to those other two bands in that mellow death scene, this is a lot more melodic. But it's also,
Yeah.
I feel like with it, it's makes it more moody, um, almost atmospherical. So kind of like what you were saying with Extinction AD, the production, the sound. That's what drove me into this album. It felt epic. It felt moody, and I really liked it. That was the new album by Dark Tranquillity. What was it called again?
I don't remember the album name. Let's see.
Oh, End Time Signals.
Okay.
Yeah, it starts off great
Yeah.
with Shivers and Voids. Neuronal Fire, I thought was a little almost of a cheesy part, but it's still like, you know what? It still got me. Um,
Yeah. It's they have an awesome sound, man. I have not listened to this band a lot, but I did like this album. I did get all the way through it, listen to all of that one, and yeah, definitely a cool blend of music, man. Definitely have some like black metal vibes, or not black metal, but I don't know.
Almost like a gothic metal, or almost like
Yeah,
a less
just kind of
heavy
like
Flesh God.
yeah, sort of. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess also without the extra instruments. What's the band of? Oh, almost like a less heavy Septic Flesh.
Yeah. 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 Almost like a dark tranquility.
uh, that was my favorite. Then there's
I think
also
that's
some
a really
other.
good way to do the playlist, you know?
Mhm.
I think that's a perfect way to do them. What's your favorite? What was your favorite this week? And then instead of just like going through it and like, oh, this fucking album sucked, this one sucked, you
Yeah.
know, it's like I definitely like that because
Yeah. And then because that was my plan is I'm also thinking of like going down the list of like I also kind of like this one. What you think of this one? Is there any other
yeah, for
favorites
sure.
that you had on this one besides two
Well,
we mentioned?
I had a question about one. Thought
Okay.
Crime, is this I Wrestled a Bear Once's new project?
No.
That chick?
So I know we had a plan. However, this was an accident. Me putting them
Okay.
on there. I thought they were going to be something else.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
I saw the name and thought, oh, that's not a bad name because it's like
Lamb.
it's well, it's a. I thought it was like so the title and the title of the band and then the artwork. It made me think it was going to be like a mathy, kind of glitchy type of band, kind of like Mouth Breather kind of s ish. Uh,
Hmm.
I was completely wrong as soon as I got to this album after Dark Tranquility. Or no, I guess this was after Left to Suffer on the playlist. Yeah, I listened to the first song and did not continue. This was not my jam because it was not what I thought it was
Well,
going to be.
if you listen to it more, it's I honestly I kind of forced myself through it because I was wondering, I was like, huh, I wonder where this one came from. And so I was like, maybe it's the because she kind of sounds like the I Wrestled a Bear chick, the original vocalist,
Hmm.
screams very similar, and then even has these like singy parts, and it's like this ridiculous techno avant-garde style music, just like I Wrestled a Bear, but it's a lot more digital. They do a lot more of like the keys and shit like that, and it got a little too electronic for me, so I didn't listen to it all the way through. But I definitely got those vibes, so I don't know.
I gotcha.
If you're into old I Wrestled a Bear Once, this may be up your alley. Maybe not. It's definitely, like I said, more techno side of it, but yeah, interesting.
Yeah, you got farther than I did. Because like I said, I had expectations with the name and that. It's like, all right, this could either be really good or really bad. And then the first song happens, like, oh, this is not what I was expecting. So I almost thought about deleting it off the playlist, but it's a good thing you checked it out. You got a better honest review than mine on it because I did not.
Yeah.
What other albums stuck out to you on this playlist?
So I listened to Eyes Again and Blind Monarch. Those kind of blended in together for me. They had that really raw black metal kind of vibes, almost like a depressing style black metal vibe, but just I don't know. I wasn't really feeling those, so I moved on. But I really liked Monument of Misanthropy.
Yeah,
Um, the tunes are badass, man. The vocals, I'm not 100% there yet on in some of the parts, but I mean, mostly it's I really dug it. And I saw did so. Is this a Dying Fetus cover? The last
I
song?
believe so. Yeah, I was gonna bring that up.
Yeah.
The last song.
Okay. Yeah, I was like, what the hell? And so, yeah, I was like, interesting. I think that's always an interesting move when a metal band does another metal song.
Yeah.
But
Uh, I was because I kept seeing this album be talked about in some Facebook groups. So I thought it was gonna be slam because it has a very slammy cover. But it seems like it's more
mm,
like more deathcore-ish. And I do know, I think I know which vocals you're talking about. Is it the highs you were having issues with?
it was like, yeah, kind of that, and then the patterning. I felt
Hmm.
like the timing wasn't great on it. I felt like there's moments it comes in on weird times, and it was just odd placement for me. But I mean, that's my fine tooth comb kind of analysis of it, but it's like it's not bad. It's just
Hmm.
I'd probably have to, listen to him more to really.
Yeah, there's a lot of aspects I liked on it. Like I like the because I almost feel like there's two singers. Did you get that vibe from this one? Like there's a
Yeah, yeah, I definitely think you got your main guy doing like the deeps, and it almost seems like the guitarist or something's doing the backup screams. I would
yeah,
think that's just kind of how it sounds because they definitely sound like different people.
yeah. I like the lows and I like the so whenever they do the crazy guitar stuff, it almost reminded me of like old Rings of Saturn with the
Mm.
crazy like stuff they were doing. And then also I
Yeah.
really like the concept of the theme because I was like, this voice sounds familiar, this story sounds familiar. So I guess this was an actual like serial killer Kemper, and those were like his
Oh,
actual like
really?
interviews and stuff. And that's
Wow. I
so
was
I
wondering
like
that.
yeah, I like stuff like that, like an actual concept and sticking to it, not just like random songs. It's okay. I do like random songs, but if it has like an overlying theme, I'm gonna be more drawn to it. I feel like there's more thought behind it. Um, I did check out Eyes Regan, however you pronounce that,
Mm-hmm.
and I kind of got
Yeah.
a similar vibe. It's almost like a. It reminds me of like if Rammstein did black metal ish, but still had retained some of their
Yeah.
sound.
Yeah, I forgot he has those vocals where he
And I don't
like
know if
throughout the
that's
whole thing.
yeah, I don't know if that's the American media. Just as soon as I hear German, I automatically think Ramstein. But I do honestly think that there is a lot of Ramstein, uh, because I feel like Ramstein has their own. I would want to say, because I looked on Wikipedia, there's like an actual like Ramstein genre in Germany. I feel like it's that genre
Yeah.
mixed with like black metal, like you were saying. I think got
Huh.
halfway through that. Blind Monarch I couldn't get too into. I felt like it was black metal. No problem with black metal. It's just something about it was a little too raw for me at the time. I think it's just of how coming off of Eyes Regan, that production going to this one, it was kind of too much of a shift for me with black metal. So I didn't check that one out too much. What do you think of Left to Suffer?
I I didn't get into it, man. I
I was
moved
very
on.
thrown off. Huh?
Yeah. Yeah, I moved on. I jammed a couple songs and I was like, okay, I don't know. It just wasn't my dig.
Does it feel like they're trying to add Drake type feels to deathcore for like no reason.
Mm.
Like
Drake, like the
like
rapper?
that first like the opening song, like I felt like I thought I got the wrong band or like it was like one of those people like I here's my R&B mixtape I made. I'm gonna pretend it's another band, get fake listens kind of thing. Like that's what it seemed like with the opening song by song Forever featuring Alejandro Aranda. Like this doesn't is this actually left to suffer? Like it feels like
Yeah,
uh
that is weird.
and it happens throughout the album. Sometimes there's like actual heavy deathcore stuff, but then it's that like rap R&B Drake style where he's like the laid back version, not the heavy hitting version. So
Yeah,
I
I
don't know. That
definitely
was a
I hate that kind of like that talking stuff or like is that what you're talking about? Like the
yeah,
talky singing kind of type shit?
yeah,
Yeah, it's definitely weird with deathcore, I think. Odd
yeah.
mix for sure.
I can get into it. It looks like that. I do remember there was some parts I liked, but then there, but as a whole, I'm not too into this. There were some cool parts because they have some cool features, like they have Pale Face Swiss on Lost in the Dark.
Mm,
Then the last song, Make It Out Alive, features Darius from Spite. That wasn't too bad of a closer one. Um, so
okay.
there are some good songs, but as a whole, I wasn't too into it.
Yeah. Yeah, I
And
definitely
then,
didn't give that one too much time. Krallis I thought had a really cool sound.
yes, I really like that one. I don't think I listened to all of it. I think I got to the second to last one, Fate Storm Sanctuary. I can't remember which song it was. Um, but it almost had like almost like a little bit of a mathy part mixed in with their black metal, almost like Imperial Triumphant Light in a section. I want to say it was maybe
Mm,
Flatlines and Circled Residue, the second song. Yeah, I liked what I heard. Um,
yeah, they got a pretty crazy sound, man.
yeah,
I feel like
well,
Sean would definitely like this band. So,
mhm.
Sean, if
And
you're
then
listening, Krallis, hit him up.
I want to say this one was a little bit older because this is one I missed and putting it in the playlist, and I saw someone had talked about it, so I decided to put it on there. I think it's a good addition. A band I would want to check out at the time. But yeah, it was pretty good. From what I remember, kind of lost in the sea of new music because there's a lot of new music, and then also trying to catch up on Watain because there's some holes I needed to work on with my Watain knowledge when it comes to
Oh
their
yeah, no,
discography.
yeah. This Krallis album is called Inorganic Rights, by the way, and that
Yeah, I
came out
recommend
July
checking it out.
5th. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, I
pretty
recommend
pretty sweet listen.
people check it out if you're interested in trying some experimental black metal. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the list this week.
Weekly playlist. I feel
There
like we need one of
was
those. Like,
I do I want to say there was a bunch of singles that have recently come out since I published this list. I need to go find them and put them on the next one because I want to say Defeated Sanity came out with a new song. Um,
Nile.
yeah, Nile came out with a new song. I haven't listened to it yet though, but the new
I
album
haven't either.
comes out this Friday.
Ooh, nice. Hell yeah.
But yeah, if there's anything we miss or you want us to talk about, let us know. Yeah, that's it for new releases. Do you have anything you want to add to new releases?
I don't think so, man. I think we covered it.
I gotcha. So let's talk about dad stuff. I got two topics we could talk about. I'll let you choose it. One topic I was thinking about talking about was either talk about what are some things that you see other parents, what are some things that you kind of restrict your kids from that might be normal for some other families, but you and your spouse have kind of decided to restrict for whatever reasons. It might not be like a textbook reason, just some kind of feeling, just like man. Or there's the other topic I've thought about how do you handle when your kids are dealing with other kids and the other kids do something to your kid? How do you handle that kind of thing? Or
Mm.
what's your gut response kind of thing? Which would you
Well,
prefer to talk about?
I mean, either really. It don't it either one I can probably comment on, but as far as like doing things differently than other parents, um, I try to control her sugar intake, but I feel like it's out of control right now. And it's like, the thing that what I've realized is like as the kids growing up and we go to other families' houses or go to other get-togethers, it's just like the grandmas and yahoos are just waiting for that. Oh, I got you something.
Hmm.
It's a sucker. It's just like sweet, you know. It's like, but what do? You just like grab it. Nope, cannot have this right now. It's just I feel like there's moments where kids got to be kids, and that's just you know you kind of lose your control to grandmothers, or I find anyways, I do. So, but um, doing things differently. I don't know. You hear like we always heard about a lot of people not traveling because of having a new baby. But like, I don't know. Yeah, they're not going to remember it, but I don't know that I totally agree with that. I feel you're still making memories. Like
Hmm.
one that I can think of in particular is whenever we ventured out to Grand Lake, Colorado for a fucking weekend. It was a ridiculous trip looking back. Literally, Lex was pregnant. Lux was around too, and we decided to trek out to this like sweet cabin. Turned out to be a beautiful place. It is a absolutely beautiful place, like straight out of a Hallmark movie. But we took off on a Thursday and made it to it, this was after work. I think I worked that day. After work, so we got to a rest stop on the far side of Kansas at like 1 in the morning, and I was like, I can't drive anymore. I'm falling asleep at the wheel. We got to sleep at a rest stop. And so she's pregnant, like pretty well full blown, and Lux is again too, and so we're all sleeping in a car in a sedan at a rest stop. And so great way of going into a vacation. And so wake up pretty early, hardly slept. We hit like an IHOP or something, make it into Denver, and then it's another 2 hours past Denver, so we're already now driving an extra 5 hours. So it's total road time was like 15 hours just to get to this town. But it was a bitch of a time driving. But once we got there, it was definitely a sense of relief. But I was so exhausted from the drive and tired, and I think I was just starting school then. I had an assignment due like that weekend. It was just I don't know. Looking back, I wish I would have taken like a week off for that sort of trip. So it's like we learned our mistake there, and like I get it why parents would say, oh, you don't want to travel with that little one. Yeah, it can be chaotic, but you're always going to think about them when they're not with you, I think, or
Yeah.
we do anyways. It's like if we were to leave her behind to stay with someone, oh, Lux would have loved this, or oh, I bet she would have liked that. You always find yourself in those moments. So I don't know. We definitely take in the traveling with the younger ones, man. We don't really shy away from doing that. What
Yeah.
about you?
Yeah, we're kind of the same. I mean, we don't see too much of an issue. Logistically, I get worried when it comes to dealing with all three kids, but when they were just young, I don't have too much of an issue with it. Like I want to say Annie wasn't even, I think, a month old, and Danny took her to Colorado by herself because I was working at the time. I had to a wet, and she went to a wedding. And in fact, we're planning on, I think, next month. We're debating on leaving the two older kids here so they don't miss school, but just me, Danny, and Theo driving to Colorado because she has another wedding she has to do a photo shoot for. And she actually just
Okay.
got back from Florida with all three kids. I
Yep.
don't think travel's too much of an issue. I do know, so I know we do it with Theo from time to time. Do you do it when you're on these road trips? Does Lex every now and then just go to the back seat just to keep the baby calm? Because it's kind of typically easier, I've noticed.
Yeah, she'll have to sometimes, like especially if it's a long drive, like she's probably gonna pop back there at least once or twice, just to, keep them calm and because they'll get tired and shit and they get sick of the riding. I can imagine you're strapped into a fucking seat for 8 hours. It's gonna be exhausting. So yeah, definitely you got to do that at moments.
Yeah. The only thing I ever worry about with the kids in travel is the possibility of them getting sick somewhere just because you're traveling, you're seeing a lot more people, a lot more places. You don't
Yeah.
know if they're dirty or not. That's one thing I
Yeah.
kind of worry about, but other than that, I don't
That
have any issues.
that's definitely true. I would think that if that happened though, you're probably not going to get it until you get back home. You know what I mean? Or
Yeah,
they're probably not going to like start showing until they get back home. So there's that. But yeah, they're definitely probably more susceptible to getting caught with something. But
yeah. And another fear I've kind of been had, this is more just travel in general. I think with kids it can be even more hectic, but the fear when it comes to hotels, we went to one, it was perfectly fine, whatever. But then we were eating breakfast in the lobby and there's a bunch of exterminators going to a floor. It's like, uh-oh. That was a little
oh,
scary.
yikes.
We didn't have any
Oh,
issues
damn.
then, but there was a month later, Danny went with her mom somewhere and they did find a bed bug in the hotel room.
Oh man.
So they
That's a
obviously all
fucking
freaked out. They got home. They put all the clothes in the dishwasher. We got some diatomaceous earth, which is supposed to kill them, but we haven't
yeah.
seen or had any issues. So,
That's crazy though, man. Like you shouldn't for especially the prices that you're paying nowadays to stay in a
hmm
hotel, like you shouldn't have to worry about that shit. They're a hotel, that's their business. They need to keep that shit on lockdown, man.
hmm
Like and I get it. You got fucking all kinds of people staying at hotels. So it's like I understand that point, but I don't know. Ugh, bugs, dude. Fuck that.
yeah, yeah, it's a scary thing, especially I think with kids, because kids aren't going to be able to see it as easy. They're not gonna.
Hmm.
They're gonna come up like, I found a bug. Like, what kind of bug? They might be talking about moth. They could be talking about anything. So
Yeah.
I get a little bit scared, especially with a baby who can't communicate at all. So that,
Yeah,
and I
right.
don't know how you really handle that with if they're infected with them.
So let me ask you this. Airbnb or hotel? What's your go-to? What are you doing?
We usually do hotels, but it's all dependent. Like when they went to Florida, since there's a group of them and they were going to spend like a week there, they did an Airbnb.
That's the
Um,
way to go.
it's all dependent. Um,
Yeah,
like when we go to St. Louis, it's always a hotel just because we like to go to the downtown part of St. Louis, like where the Arch, Cardinals games, Blues games, stuff like that.
sure.
Yeah, it all just depends.
Yeah. I feel like I like to once we're like sitting down and we're like, man, we need to go somewhere. It's like, okay, well, let's, pick where. And then usually once we pick the destination, I'll kind of weigh the options, see what we got going on. We'll pick a date at least, and then we'll just go with that date. Let me see what's on Airbnb there for that date. Let me see what's on booking.com, and I'll literally price shop the shit out of, what's available because even Airbnb, dude, has gotten through the
hmm
roof now. And I feel like it's one of those third party increases like you find in like ticket stubs shit nowadays. You know what I mean?
hmm
StubHub, it's like you get your listed price. It's like, oh, you know, 110 a night or something. It's like, okay, that's not gonna cost too much. And then you go to the final checkout, $697. What the fuck? And then you find out it's like these stupid little fucking added fees that they just chalk on there. I'm like, what is that shit? Like, come on, dude.
Yeah,
They
all the
make it
cleaning
so
fees and
damn
stuff,
hard anymore. Yeah,
which I feel like
it's just
shouldn't that
dumb.
just be part of your overhead if you're running that business?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Like, that's fucking what you're taking on, dude. I don't know. Definitely kind of fucked up, but
I also do prefer hotels because we have an American Express, and with that, you can through their app you can book hotels at a way cheaper rate, and then it'll automatically get put on your card. You get more points because you use that. So there's a lot more benefits for us if we get a hotel. But we still
that is
do.
cool. And you typically, well, or not typically, but more often they have a pool. Whereas,
Mhm.
Airbnbs, they're almost none of them have pools unless you're paying for like a big place with like a lot of people. Like you said, you really don't see that on the lower scale for just a quick night with the kids or some shit.
Yeah. And I also feel like more hotels are doing this. I really like the ones that do this. I guess it's called a suite, where it's almost like this is the kitchen, this is the living room, then
Hmm.
there's a door to the actual bedroom, then there's a bathroom, like an actual almost like apartment kind of thing. I prefer those a lot better. because those are nice.
Oh
You can just
yeah.
have a kid sleep on the pull-out couch and go to your own room. They have their own TV. We have our TV kind of thing. I love that so much more, especially since the last one I went to, you can open up. It has all the like dishware and stuff you can need. So if you actually want to cook stuff there, you don't have to go
That
out
is
to eat
cool.
all the time.
Yeah, for sure.
But as for stuff that we restrict, we usually it's more about like TV shows. Some of it is a mix of like we're annoyed by it and we don't want to listen to it. Like
Yeah.
Blippi, for example. Absolutely not
Oh,
Blippi. I'm sure there's
fucking
probably
hate that
educational
guy.
value, but we don't want to go down that train.
Well, I
Um,
heard that that dude shit on a chick's chest online. I I really did. I don't know if this is true or not. I never
was
like
he in
Googled it,
character?
but I
Here
I
we
don't know if
go.
he went that far. But yeah. Okay. Oh, what is that? Yeah. Oh, that guy's the worst, isn't he? It's like, come on, man. You don't fucking act like that every day. I mean, obviously, I guess he's dressed up, in character, whatever. But what I always think of is the people that he talks to that work at these fucking places that he goes to. And he's like, "Hi, my name's Blippi. What are you gonna show me today?" And they're just like, "Okay, I'm gonna show you how to do this." It's just like I see some of them just like looking at him like, "You're fucking weird, dude." You know? I mean, I feel like you gotta be kind of weird to like do that position. It's like, and then I don't know. I don't get like I could never see myself making those videos for children. I don't have like a want to. I don't know where that want to comes from. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I love playing with my girls, but I don't play like that. Yeah,
Well,
I just act stupid as shit.
even that talking like that, I hate when shows do that
Oh.
because my daughter's super impressionable when it comes to that stuff. She does it all the time. She'll talk just like the cartoon characters. Oh, I hate it so much. It's like, stop. I know where you're getting this from.
Yeah.
So if
Yeah.
she was, it's like, Daddy, this is the kitchen. That's because of Blippi. I would lose it. It would suck.
Yeah. I definitely get that.
Another
So
show.
it's almost, oh, go
What's
ahead.
that?
I was about to derail us, so you might as
Oh,
well keep going.
I was just gonna say another show we watch, and I understand there's a lot of people who let their kids watch it, and it's nothing against them. Because I think even you've brought up this show. We just don't like it because our kids are very easily overstimulated, and watching it
Hmm.
seems like, oh, there's a lot of these colors and a lot of very high definition kind of stuff, and that's Coco Melon. It's a
Yeah.
mixture of the annoyance, but also the overstimulation. Because I can see it
Oh,
in
for
Annie.
sure.
She gets overstimulated very quickly. We had,
Just get sucked in.
well, it's that, but also like almost like an emotional reaction sometimes. Like they react a certain way. Like we showed Annie Cat in the Hat, and we had to turn it off because she was almost having like anxiety, um, like
The one
freaking
with
out.
Michael Myers.
Mm-hmm. Because it was something about
That
all the
one's so
bright.
weird.
It was yeah, it was something about all the bright colors, the weirdness, but also he was making a mess. So it was like all that all at once. Just kind of made her
Mm,
freak out. So just trying to prevent the overstimulation, um,
yeah.
but also it's annoying. I've heard other parents tell horror stories about how annoyed they are with the songs and the videos. So I understand. We're trying to not go down that. We haven't. There's other shows that are similar where like little baby bumps, just because that was our like crack when Annie was a little baby. It's
Mm,
similar, just not like actual characters, just like it's very low
right.
definition. So
Yeah. That was another one that Lux would kind of got hooked on. It's like I will say to speak on, I think I mentioned this in an episode or two ago. I can't remember, but um how the kids just they are different, and the older they get, the more you see their personalities start to show and shine and stuff. And you know, prime example, Lux was really into Coco Melon, Little Baby Bum, that sort of shit. And she
mhm.
was hooked on it for like a year plus, like really not so much anymore. She hardly ever asks for that, or yeah, I mean, really never does. But Stella, like you couldn't get her to sit down and watch Cocomelon. It doesn't click with her. Like she just does not watch it. But instead, they watch like these dance videos that they can like be active and dance along to. And they
Okay.
have like it's like on-screen games where it shows the marker where you got to step to like
Mm,
get something, and it's just like a scrolling thing, but it's literally just a YouTube video. They like dance to it and like think that they're playing the game, but it's really just YouTube. I mean, as far as interactive go, it entertains them. So like Lex will utilize those in daycare or certain days or whatever. I don't know how she does it, but um, and it's really not anything terrible for them to ingest. It's like, I mean, it's literally they're like hopping for squares or bugs or whatever the fucking thing
mm,
is. It's literally just like an interactive play. And so like Stella and Lux, they both get into those. One thing Lux gets into is this like Diana show. It's like some girl, she's just opening up all kinds of fucking toys with her
oh,
parents. She's foreign and she talks like this in the whole show, and it's just like so annoying. I'm like, oh, I fucking hate this. Anything I can do to get away from that show, But yeah, I don't know. I forgot where I was going with that one.
what
But
do you think about? Uh, I've let her watch it a little bit, but I'm already kind of trying to put a stop to it. What about Masha and Bear?
oh, it's definitely weird.
It's
Is that the
sad, but
Little
it's
Red
also
Riding Hood one?
yeah with the bear, and it's in Russian.
Mm-hmm.
Also
Mm-hmm.
worried about a little bit of Russian propaganda, but it's just like,
Yeah,
what are you really getting from this?
right.
Because I
Yeah,
they
it's
don't
like
even speak English, do they? It's literally just still in Russian, isn't it?
I don't even know. I honestly haven't watched it enough. I don't even know if it's like words or if it's just like sound effects like ooh ah, or I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it is words. I haven't watched it an episode. But yeah, like you always think of like the fear of Russian propaganda and child film maybe. I mean, I don't always think about that, but I guess
Every
it's a
day.
possibility to yeah, I guess
It's
it's a
like my room.
possibility to be yeah, to be brainwashed, by Russia propaganda. But she's like, I don't. It doesn't hold her attention span to even be mind warping. I don't think, to sit through that. She'll like plug it in or like turn it on, but it's just like I don't know that it's really entertaining enough. But it's a weird ass show about Little Red Riding Hood. Characters look goofy as shit. But some of that stuff, it's like super pixelated, looks like shit, sounds like shit, and like the kids love it. I'm like,
Yeah.
why? I don't get it.
I do feel like my kids seem to do like the cheapest, most lack of effort shows. Like
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the same show, but there's some show like they'll I'll catch them watching from time to time where it's like a family like in the backyard. Like they're not really talking about it's like boop, 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 and they're like going down the slide. Just like it's nothing. It's just sounds and pictures pretty much. I've one time walked in on Jensen. He'll do it every now and then. I feel like he's too young to do this. Like, 'cause I heard of like middle school kids doing it, but he's already doing it. Watching someone playing Super Mario World video game.
I
Like,
think we kind of touched base with this, and you feel like he's getting that high from that experience, but he's not actually doing it.
yeah,
Did we
uh,
talk about that? Or
yeah, I think we did talk about that. I still don't fully understand like what the appeal is. That, yeah, it probably is that.
well,
Yeah.
it's like the opening toy videos. It's like it's these kids, they're opening these toys, and they got fucking tons of toys in the video. It's like, and it's toys that my kids don't have. So it's like, and then they see these kids playing with them and having fun, and it's almost like they're living that experience,
Kind of
but they're not,
vicariously.
So it's like, yeah, it's like hypnotizing almost. It's fucking weird. I can definitely get the understanding to want to deter them from that, but
Yeah.
at the same time, I don't know how serious it really is. I
Yeah,
mean,
I think it is just, I think it might just be me overthinking it because I do think
right.
you're right. It's literally just them trying to live vicariously. It's just weird as an adult when you see people who like put a lot of effort into things and the kids don't give a
Right.
shit. It's these like no effort, like low budget things, like barely a show, and they love it. That's the
Yeah,
weird. I just find that weird.
it
But
is definitely weird, man. I agree with you there.
diet, I've tried the sugar thing, but I'm gonna get beat every time. It's how much energy I have to deal with it.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, you take
I
it to a
know.
relative's, it's game over.
Well, like before you have kids, it sounds so easy.
Hmm.
It sounds so easy to make this schedule, to have this strict, stern ability to tell them no and lay down the law and they're going to obey. But I guarantee that kid's going to know who you are and they're going to know how to not maybe not change your mind, but they're going to know how to fucking push your buttons and push your stress limitations and they're going to exhaust you and you will, I feel like, just bend. You know, it's like it, I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe there's some parents out there that have their shit together more than I do. Or I'm sure there is. But sugar's definitely one thing that is always challenging for me.
Hmm.
Always. And it's like Lux is definitely in an age where she's like getting taller, not eating great, and I those two really don't have anything to do with each other. It's just like she's getting in that age where she's like getting taller, so she's kind of like thinning up, but she's only eating fucking shit foods. Like she'll push breakfast off. Oh, I'm not hungry, not hungry. Well, it gets close to lunchtime. Can I have a snacky? And she wants fruit chews, It's almost like always her first choice. And it's just like, if I'm home, I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna, enforce that shit. And she can just go hungry. But there's other parties involved in the decision making. So sorry, not to point fingers. I'm not pointing fingers here, but I'm just saying.
I'm the same way. I had that same fight with my daughter tonight because it's always I get super annoyed when they do the whole "I'm not hungry" or "I'm full from eating. Can I have dessert now?" kind of thing. Like, no, finish the food we made you. Then, if
Yeah.
you're still hungry, we can have dessert. Like it was a whole fit. She ate. It was like chicken tacos, and she ate like a bunch of the insides, but there's still a lot left. Tortillas untouched. Like,
Mm.
can I have a cookie now? You can be done eating if you want. If you're full, that's full, whatever. But if you want a cookie, you need to eat all that. And it turned into about a 30-minute, like, just like
Holy shit
standoff.
storm.
I wouldn't say a full shit storm. I've seen worse. It was more of a standoff. It's like, all right, I'm
Yeah.
gonna go upstairs. If you want, you can be
Yep.
done. Um, and you can come hang out upstairs. If you're wanting a cookie, though, you have to eat that. It's your choice.
Right.
Rah, rah, rah. And then I go upstairs. I see her coming upstairs with her plate. Am I done now? No. Like whole thing. And then I thought my father-in-law came home because I heard her talking. And she comes upstairs chewing, but she has a smile on her face. It's like something's up. And she shows me her plate. All done. It's like, okay, you can have a cookie. And then I look at Dana. It's like, I bet Papa J took that and said, "Go say you ate it all."
Oh, damn. So
Apparently, I
grandpa
was
came in and intervened.
apparently I was half right. Papa J was not home, but our dog was, so she gave it to our dog Everest.
So she's down there. Here you go. You can eat it. Help me. Damn. She pulled one on you. That's
Yep,
funny.
she's getting smarter and smarter. She even tried
Ah,
to do
they
the
were clever.
sympathy. She tried to do the sympathy cards like, "I just want the cookie so I can split it with my brother." Because her brother was already
Oh, well, in that case, here you go.
yeah,
Yeah.
which her brother was already in the doghouse because he shot her in the face with a Nerf gun. So he was already point blank not getting a cookie. He accepted
Yeah.
his fate. He's like,
Yeah.
okay, I get it. I was wrong.
That's gnarly. Oh man, kids, they crack me up, man. That's It's funny. And you know what? It's like it's just all you got to do is remind yourself that they are like literally this tall, you know.
Hmm.
And it's like at the end of the day, you have the bigger brain. Your patience is your capacity is larger than theirs, physically, literally. But, you know, it's like it's a like fucking mental standoff at that point, you know, like you said.
Hmm.
It's just I feel like you definitely every parent has the ability to outlast them in a war of patience. But dude, they get the best of you.
Hmm. And
They will absolutely get the best of you.
sometimes find it hard to find the line between standing on principle and trying to make sure that they are taught a lesson, but at the same time making sure you're not crossing, like, am I wrong in this situation, kind of thing.
Right,
I feel that sometimes it's hard to find that balance of, am I being too strict, or am I literally just trying to stand on principle, kind of
right.
thing, like with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, am I just trying to win at this point, you know?
Yeah.
It's like,
Am I doing the
or
right
yeah,
thing, or am I trying to do an actual good parent thing? It's
right.
trying to find that balance I find hard sometimes.
Well, and because sometimes I feel like I've caught myself in those moments too. And I'm like, okay, maybe, you know, her intentions aren't to just get one off on me. Let me see where this goes. And I'll like try to literally force myself to step back and just see. And it turns out she's just wanting to do something like out of innocence, you know? And so it's like, ah, okay, that was like me. That was me just kind of being controlling, you know. It's more the control side coming out. But I think to be a good parent, you have to have a good amount of control,
Hmm.
or I don't know, or not a good amount of control, but you know, just a good handle on shit. I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
you're the responsible one in the picture, so
And maybe, like a level of consistency of trying to, like,
yeah,
it's this way all the time. Every now and then, if there's extraordinary circumstances, bend the rules a little bit, but it's to where
yeah,
they understand what the rules are, not constantly changing whatever your mood is, kind of
right,
thing.
yeah, for sure. Well, and like you know, food, it's such a big one to me because it's two birds with one stone. You know, you're trying to get them to first eat for the most part eat healthy, you know. We try to incorporate, you know, a pretty well balanced meal whenever we're doing dinner, whatever, and you know, just like a green in there, a protein, yada yada. And so just to make sure she's getting nutrients, but and then also to not be wasteful. So it's like,
Hmm.
you know, I also want you to eat this portion and to learn to not waste your plate. Like when I grew up, my grandma worked hard to cook, and so I was raised watching my grandma cook in the kitchen and, you know, seeing how hard she works to make these giant meals because like you know, my side of the family, like it's a big family. Like my mom was one of seven kids, so whenever we had get-togethers at the house and shit, she would make massive meals, man. And so I was always taught at the young age, you know, don't waste grandma's food, but I didn't want to. She cooked, she's an amazing cook. So I grew up a fatty and eating, you know, plenty. But um, I was taught from a young age, you know, it's disrespectful to waste food, to throw it
Hmm.
away. Like you don't waste food. I don't know. I kind of grew up with that mindset and always like, you know, never wanted to piss anyone off, you know, at like guest houses or something. It's like I always tried to, you know, eat my portions or whatever. But I don't know. I would like her to get that too, but definitely a challenge right now.
Yeah. All right. So you want to move on to? Are you wanting to do Watain album rankings tonight, or do you want to?
Yeah, sure, if you want to. Do you?
Yeah, because I already have. That's kind of what I was building up towards. 'Cause I was thinking um, of doing it tonight, and then I didn't know if we want to pick another artist to do with. I'll let this
Okay.
part out. To do with
Yeah,
Alex,
hey,
or if we
well,
want to ask him what he wanted to pick.
All right. You're gonna edit this anyways. I'm gonna go pee real quick.
All right.
Sorry. Sorry. Yellow.
Hello.
Do you answer the phone like an old man? Yellow, this is
Uh,
Jeffrey.
no. It's all dependent on who I see is calling. Sometimes answer
Oh,
just like a
okay.
work phone, or sometimes I'll just answer it like, "Hey,
You ever gamble? Just don't look at it and just answer?
no."
It's almost kind of more
I
exciting now.
always look at it. No, especially with all the spam calls.
Oh man, my boss, he'll fuck with, well, current boss right now. He'll fuck with them and like have full on conversations. Like last winter, we were working one day and one called, and they always give you a bullshit name, especially if they're foreign. DC John Smith, and it's just like, and so literally this guy calls, and and my boss for some reason, it's like, hello, like, yeah, this is John Smith. He's like, this is who? John Smith. Your name ain't fucking John Smith. What's your real name? What is your goddamn real name? And then for some reason, it was like snowing. He's like, is this a snowman? Do you have a carrot on your face? Do you have coal for eyes? And he just kept going on. It was so stupid, but he just laughed and then he just hung up on him. I was like, you're an asshole. Poor guy. Poor John Smith. But I know for a fact that those call centers encourage you to change your name so you sound more appealing, more welcoming.
Hmm.
I had the bullshit job when I was like 16, telemarketing. I was calling I was calling to take donations for the Nebraska Sheriff's Association. Yeah. No bullshit. In Missouri, in Camdenton, Missouri, and we were in the basement of some fucking studio thing. Yeah.
So did it actually go to the?
No, well, I can't tell you where the funds went. I was just the collector. I was just the caller. It was weird, man. Yeah. No bullshit. That was like one of my first jobs. And everyone would come back from lunch wearing sunglasses, and I never knew why until one day my buddy Joe Luce, me and him would carpool together, and he comes back one day wearing sunglasses, and I was like, "Hey, where'd you go for lunch?" And he just like laughed at me, and he's like, "Oh, I took off with him, blah blah blah," and like then I just started realizing like everyone around me was just fucking high as shit, and like no one took their job serious. Like one of the best salesmen, his name was like Troy Magnum or something. I was like, "Are you serious?" And he's like, "Hey, they said you can make your own name." Like,
Dirk
wow,
Diggler.
yeah, yeah, particular, yeah. It was obnoxious, man. My buddy did a whole call one time as the old man voice from Family Guy. I was very impressed. I was like, damn, that's awesome. And so like nine times, like half the calls you'd call and be like, yeah, this is blah 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 calling for Nebraska Sheriff's Association. They're like, you got a 573 area code, buddy. What are you calling me here in Nebraska for if you're in fucking Missouri? And they like get immediately pissed and just hang up on you. Or the other half surprise the shit out of you. They let you go through the whole spiel, and they're like, "Yeah, put me down for $300." And I'm like, "What? 300 fucking dollars? Like, okay, thanks." And that's like we got commission from these sales. It's weird. One
So
of
what
the
was the
weirdest jobs
company
I've
name?
ever had. Um, Pinnacle or
Pinnacle?
telemarketing or Pinnacle. No, there's a Pinnacle gas company, so don't get it mixed up with that. But yeah, maybe something like that. It was weird. I don't know,
Hmm.
but I don't think it's in business anymore. In fact, I was working the day that the boss, the owner, came in and laid everyone off. It's like, yep, well, we're done here. And we're like, oh, come on, one more call, one more call, one more call. He's like, no, 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 stop, stop.
For some reason, I just picture this
Okay.
boss to be like Jonah Jameson from Spider-Man, just very shady and greasy, just like, yep, we're done here. Just trying
Yeah,
to,
he was bald and had a thick mustache. It was crazy.
yeah. My plan
Is that who you're
for,
talking about? The news guy?
yeah,
Yeah,
give me a
yeah,
picture
yeah.
of Spider-Man now.
Yeah, it was oddly yeah, oddly connected to that guy actually. It's funny you say that. Yeah, very shady business. Fun while it lasted. I think we only gave it a ran for like 3 months or something like that. Short-lived, but yeah, good times. Welcome
Back
back to
into,
Death Metal Daddies.
yeah. So this week we chose, or you chose, Watain, um,
Watton.
the Swedish black metal legends. Uh, they are have been doing this for I guess over 25 years now. I guess I didn't realize this until I watched a video today.
Damn, old school. Oh, watch the video. What video was this?
I was watching someone review their newest album.
Hmm.
It was that Banger
I
TV.
hate guys reviewing other people's music.
Well, this is all like their whole media.
I was just talking shit on us.
I'm picking up. That was my own dumb fault. This today was the first time I've listened to that album, their new album, all the way through, and I felt a certain way about it because it's hard with that album. We'll get to it. So I just wanted someone else's point of view. I don't agree with everything they say, but I think they made some good points. So yeah, but yeah, they brought up 25 years. I guess I didn't realize it had been that long.
Damn. Yeah, and I mean, I thought that this band was actually pretty prominent in the 90s, but I assume that's just their inception years. I mean, they were probably started jamming in the 90s. Well, yeah, obviously. Looks like Rabid Death's Curse #1 that came out in 1999. I know that the inception for Watain though, um, from the words of Eric Danielson specifically, he just said that he was at a Metallica concert way back in the day. I can't tell you the year or anything. This is all from an interview, but he just remember seeing Metallica live, and he felt that he said he knew he had to be a part of that somehow. And I
Hmm.
was like, wow, this fucking nasty ass black metal band comes from Metallica. I just remember that blowing my mind because like this band for me, dude, they are so huge. I discovered them um much later in their run around the Lawless Darkness release, which I think was 2010. So um kind of mid their discography, but I fell in love with their sound, and they sounded like witchcraft in an album to me. I couldn't explain it better than that. I don't know. Um, now I can probably explain it better, but it's like just a raw nastiness to their sound, man, especially for black metal. I feel like for being a modern black metal band and still kicking it with that old school style, old school sound, still sounds raw. Um, I'm all for Watain, dude. I love this band ever since I heard them, and caught my first interest when they did a leg with Behemoth and a couple other bands. I think the band The Devil's Blood, and then In Solitude. They did a North American run like that, and it was. I remember uh, Watain were going on, and I got a barricade spot at this show, and I fucking just I fought everyone, for it. Or no, I didn't fight everyone for it. That's a lie. But I got there early, Anyways, I remember as Watain is getting their stage set up, I saw all the shit coming out, the fucking iron upside down crosses and shit. They just looked rusty as fuck. It literally just looked nasty, all their stage aesthetics. And then I just got this waft of like fucking a horrible stench. And I was like, what the fuck is that smell, dude? Oh my God, it's disgusting. And like, I was just an idiot and thought it was these people standing next to me. And so I'm like, God damn, dude, these people are fucking nasty. But a security guard comes up to the security officer or guard standing in front of me, and he's got like that Vapo rub shit, and he's like, "Here, you want some? It helps with the smell." And I was like eavesdropping. I was like, "Yeah, what's the smell? What's going on?" And he's just like, "Oh, it's the rotting goat heads." I was like, "What?" It's like, "Yeah, it's the rotting goat heads." I was like, "Those are real?" Yeah, they've been keeping them in a cooler, but like not cooled. And so like they literally tour with a fucking cooler of rotting goat heads that aren't cooled, chilled, or anything. And it's like, ew, what? Like that's when I knew this band was fucking serious. I was like, oh my gosh, these are some crazy motherfuckers, dude. So yeah, uh, sorry for the riffraff, but
Oh, you're good,
Watain's the
man.
shit, and
I get it
I
because I
loved him,
remember
man.
you had talked a lot about him, and I wasn't originally into him at all. I thought like, okay, it's another black metal band, uh, kind of a dime a dozen kind of thing. And then you convinced me to go. I think you convinced me to go to the Mayhem concert that they played at, and that was a sick concert that they played. I
Oh
didn't
yes.
obviously I didn't know any of the songs. You and Caleb were very excited for Watain. I was very meh there for Mayhem. But yeah, I don't remember. Did they have the Goat Heads or Mayhem on on that tour, or did they both
I
do it?
don't. They may have both did it. I didn't remember the smell at that show. But their stage setup was pretty still thorough. Oh, he did have a go ahead up there. This was actually had like the hide on it and everything, so maybe it had just been recently dismembered or beheaded. I don't know. But if you haven't listened to Watching, they obviously roll with the satanic aesthetic. And I think I did a deep dive on it, and it stems from Eric Danielson's early roots of being a big Bathory fan. I think he touts them as the main influence for Watain. And I think they've even done a Bathory cover or two, maybe. But I know that Bathory is one, and also Dissection, the
Mm-hmm.
John Navid guy, or however the hell you say his name. Um, but I think that their satanic influence is that Order of the Nine or whatever that
Oh,
dude
Order of the Nine
followed.
Angles,
Yeah, maybe.
or is it Temple of the Light?
Or yeah, maybe Temple of the Light. I don't. I could be totally fucking that part up. I just got to throw that out there. But I know that this was they're openly. Well, they don't like openly talk about it, but they've mentioned in a couple interviews how they're a part of Order of something. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but yeah. So, anyways, extreme black metal band is kind of what I would classify them as. But they're terrifying. Like even to see live, Eric Danielson, like I feel like his corpse paint for some reason is just scarier than others. And he's a small ass dude, but has always just had this like just shredded voice, man. And it's just I don't know. It works really well in this band.
I feel like when we saw him, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't part of his corpse paint, I want to say he didn't he have like horns like on his head, but it was like it wasn't like protruding. It was like actually like drawn to where it like went down the side of his head. That kind of added
Maybe,
to the
yeah, it was something like that. It was almost like a tribal design though, because it like went, I think he was doing like a half tribal, like kind of spiral
hmm,
pattern to his eye sort of thing. And then the rest was like a just raw, weird, crazy ass looking face. I don't know.
I
But
gotcha. Yeah, and then we also got blood thrown on us at that show, which was
yeah,
our
man,
original picture for the
that
first
was
episode.
that was weird, dude. That was so crazy. I just remember I seen this like chalice or whatever the hell you want to call it. Is that what that's called? Or like a what am I thinking of? Goblet?
Yeah,
Or like
I think that's kind of
yeah.
interchangeable.
Okay. Well, it was like a skull though. It's like skull kind of thing and
Oh yeah.
he Watain like kind of they take these intermission breaks, not a whole intermission, but it's like maybe a minute or something, and he'll like kind of it gets very ceremonial feeling. He lights candles before he starts performing, sets the whole stage, and I think even in an interview he referred to like someone said, "What your concerts?" He's like, "Well, first and foremost, they're not concerts. These are rituals or some shit like that, or ceremonies." And I was like, "Oh, you know." So I don't know. I don't know if he's just playing into it or if it's that serious for him. But anyways, they definitely have one hell of a presence whenever they come out, and it literally just looks like they're straight from a fucking graveyard. But anyways, there's this intermission part, and we're all just kind of standing there, and the music's just kind of ambient, lingering, not really there. And he's doing something at his altar, like he kind of set up this altar with like the candles around it, and like the you see a goat head up there, and couldn't really tell what's going on, but he's fucking with this goblet thing, and then he like gets up and starts walking around stage, and that's when the intro music for that song Outlaw comes on,
Hmm.
and it's like and like starts building up, and it's like oh shit, dude, and it like I remember it like just got super intense then, and then he's just walking around with this goblet, literally comes to like right where we're at, just takes it and fucking slings all this blood right across the fucking crowd, and a huge swath of it just totally got my face, man. Got all my face. And literally, just remember looking at you and Caleb like, holy shit, did that really just happen? And like, it was so much that a guy after that song, I was walking from there to the bathroom because I had to piss, and this guy stops me. He's like, "Hey, are you okay, man?" And I was like, "Yeah, no, he just sprayed me." And he's like, "Oh, okay, wow." And so everyone was looking at me like I was fucked up, but like yeah, that was a wild experience, man. So yeah, I guess we have been blessed or christened by
Baptized in
Watain.
Watain.
Yeah.
So I want to say you got the worst out of all three of us. I barely had any on me, but you had it like right on your eyes. I want to say almost like that
Yeah, it
Predator
was.
thing where they have like the line of just blood.
It was fucking crazy. That was just so nuts, dude. That's by far like the wildest thing that's ever happened to me at a show.
So
But yeah,
because of your
very
history
intense
with
life.
you have more of a history with this band, I was gonna have you lead this if you want to introduce these and give your thoughts on it, and I'll follow up afterwards.
All right, sweet. So Rabid Death's Curse, first album, very raw sounding. This band like has a raw throughout their entire sound, I'd say. But well, it said 99 earlier. Now I click on it, it says 2000. So I don't know. January 1st, 2000 was it. That's probably not right, but most prominent songs on this is I'd say Rabid Death's Curse and on Horns Impaled. Um, if you like those two songs, you'll probably like Watain, but it's very kind of I think even though I do like this album, and I would say I prefer this first album over other black metal bands like Behemoth's early stuff, I'm gonna like this one more than like that. But it's like you still get Watain roots in this for sure, or like I guess obviously. But like new Watain, you can still come back to this album and hear. So, anyways, those two songs I'd highlight the most. Those are the most prominent on that album. Haven't spent a lot of time with it, but I will say for a first album coming out the gate, it's a strong one, man. And great black metal vibes with that first release. So I'm gonna give it a 6.8.
I gotcha. Yeah, this was the first time actually listening to this one because, um, like you said, they've always kind of been raw. So since I kind of got them into the middle of their career, I was already full full frontal with the rawness. I didn't really want it to get any more raw, so I kind of always stayed away from their first album. But it wasn't too bad. I didn't mind it too much. It does have the more, I feel like this, since it is their first one, it has a little bit of a more rawer feel than their other stuff. But I think it's, I don't know if it's a product of uh, its age because of this was after all the initial wave. They kind of got the kinks out of recording, so it does sound better, I think, than most of the debut albums of black metal bands
Mm-hmm.
before them. So yeah, I'd probably give this about a six. It's probably about the same-ish. So it'd be what, 12.8? Is there anything else you want to add on this album?
Nah, it's a good start.
All right. What is next?
Jesus Luciferi or Sasis. I'm not, I don't know how to pronounce this. Um, but yeah, Casus Luciferi. Came out in 2003. Opens up with a banger, Devil's Blood, and they'll still play this one live, man. And it rips. It's what sets Watain apart from other black metal bands that you really get in this album is their kind of proggy, almost melodic rides. I feel like they really like to do that, and as opposed to where other black metal bands are just, it's mostly blasts, and that's mostly what you're getting. But Watain's different. I'd say they're 50 blasts and then they're 50 groove slash melodic rides, man. It's just, I don't know, and that's why I think I like them so much because they're not scared to really kind of get into the groove of it, where you don't really get that with a lot of black metal bands. But anyways, Devil's Blood, it's a hell of a progression in that song, man, and I love it. Very catchy. The riff really sticks with me. Black Salvation, that song follows right after. But this is another out, like me personally, I can probably listen to um, every album or Watain album and like it and find something that I like about it all the way through. But anyways, yeah. Did you
I
check
got
this
you.
one out?
I did. I liked this one a lot better than Rabbit's Death Curse because, like you said, there's those proggy elements and more in this one. Like I really like Puzzles of Flesh and I Am Earth. That's I feel like where the weird kind of proggy, almost mathy, but not really mathy parts in their songs that I don't really remember in any other albums, but I remember hearing it in this one, specifically in Puzzles of Flesh. Like those two stuck out to me a lot. I like this one. I felt like because, like I said, since I started at the middle, I was worried going back it would be almost too raw for me. I felt like this was
Mm-hmm.
okay. I don't know why I wasn't checking out this one because this is more of like what I would expect from Watain. So I think this was a big step up. I would give this maybe 7.5. What do you have for this one?
Yeah. I think I'm right there with you, man. I think 7.5 is a good number too. Um, yeah, again, I really like this album. I think I still have the physical copy from Shane actually. Um, and I don't know that I'm going to give it back unless he asks because I love this band so much. So, Shane, if you want your CD back, holler at me. But yeah, so next we have Sworn to the Dark, and this comes out in 2007. So a couple years later, a good break time. Typical for Watain. Seems like they're staying with like the 3 4 year gaps in between albums. And this is, I think, the album that like, man, it's just um I don't know, front to back, it is purely enjoyable, man. I just all around I really loved this one. And like I said, I came into Watain on Lawless Darkness, so the album that comes after this, and then I did the deep dive and went all the way through, and this was one that it's right up there for me with Lawless Darkness. So it's definitely a strong one. Legions of the Black Light, Satan's Hunger, um, let's see. Sworn to the Dark, obviously. That's a fucking just banger of a song, dude. And then the ending song Stellivore is one of my Watain favorites of all time. Um, and I love a band that ends an album with an epic, and
Hmm.
Watain starts it here. And dude, they did such a phenomenal job with that song. What's your thoughts on this one?
Uh, you pretty much highlight all the songs I was going to talk about. This is actually going to be my 10 because this is my favorite Watain album. Um,
Hell yeah.
because I remember, like I said, you guys took me to go see them with Mayhem, and I wasn't too familiar with them. I remember on the way home, like, man, Watain's awesome. That was a great concert, and we were still listening to them on the way home. And you guys played Stellivore. I was like, this song's fucking sick. Did they play this one? I'm
Yeah,
like, no, they didn't play it. But this is a song that I still listen to. I wouldn't say daily, but I do listen to this one a lot still, regardless of preparing for this. It's a great song. It's a slightly longer, but I feel like kind of like with when we were talking about with Nile and like in the song "The Name of a Moon." It's long and it requires all that length to build up to how great this is.
oh, absolutely.
Especially those chorus parts. The dun, dun, God, oh, Joe. Like those are great.
Yeah.
And then it ties
Oh,
into the
dude.
end where he has the strike once
Once
more.
more. Yeah. Style. Yeah. More.
Yeah, it's a
Absolutely, dude.
great song, great ender. The rest of the album
Powerful
is
song.
is very good. You highlight some like I really like Satan's Hunger. Um, I want to say it was Sworn to the Dark. Which was the other one? Because there are certain ones that stuck out, especially. I want to say maybe it was Legions of the Black Light, but yeah, great album. I was a little confused though, looking at the at the tracks of the titles. I thought Deadbed Dreaming was a Deicide cover until it played, because I want to say, isn't that a instrumental? I got all excited,
Oh,
like, oh,
yeah.
there's a Deicide cover right in the middle. Like, no,
Yeah,
it's an instrumental, but it's a good instrumental that leads. It's an actual, genuinely good instrumental that leads into Stellivore.
it
So
is.
yeah, this would be my 10. What is your score for
Yeah.
this one?
Yeah, man. Like I said, this is right up there with what will be my 10. So this is powerhouse of a fucking album. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I'm gonna give it a 9.5.
Okay. You got a 19.5. Actually, I'm just going to move this more up here, close to the top, so I don't have to. If something does score higher, I don't have to move as much things.
For sure.
All right. All right.
I would love a reunion tour of this album, man.
Oh, yeah.
Watain, you have a 20-year moment coming up. You can really hit that one for us. That would be great.
All right. Up next.
You know what? Mayhem needs to do that too. Or is Mayhem doing that? You said Mayhem's coming out with Chimera. Did they just
So
do
they
a merch drop
re-released.
or
I think it is just a merch drop. Hopefully they do a tour because they did do a tour on.
that would be so sick, but I feel like you never see black metal bands doing that.
I know they did it with their debut, the Dom Satanas. I forget
Oh,
that
okay.
Latin one. They do that a lot. I feel like because that's like their cult classic.
Yeah.
But I think the Chimera was literally just a merch shop, and I think they even did like re-release vinyls of it, which is still cool. I would love to get that vinyl and maybe a shirt, maybe like a long sleeve, because I feel like with that art, it's a good long sleeve
Hell
artwork kind
yeah.
of thing. But I don't know. I hope, wish they would, but I don't think they will because I feel like we're in the rare category of people who actually really like that album of
Right.
Mayhem's discography.
That's what's weird, man, is Mayhem, you have so many different albums and
Hmm.
you have like and it's almost like those albums have their own fan bases.
Hmm.
Like Grand Declaration of War has a bunch of haters that fucking can't stand that album. That's one of my favorites. It's got the war theme throughout it. He does like the snare fucking rolls. It's just like that's like a giant war chant. I feel like that album is. And then um Chimera, yeah, it's their most produced sound and like the grooviest and kind of like almost more most mainstream like they ever
Hmm.
got, but yet a lot of Mayhem like diehards it seems like don't really like that one at all.
Yeah, which
But yeah,
yeah. So
anyways, back to Watain.
yeah, what is next?
So next we have Lawless Darkness, 2010. It's a banger. Um, this album totally captivated me. Man, I was just I was completely just stupid obsessed with this album. When it dropped, it was I started checking them out before it dropped, and then after it dropped even more. And my first Watain experience was right around that time. So that show with Behemoth and um, that show particularly, like Watain stole it. Like I stayed for all of Behemoth, and enjoyed myself, but I gotta say, man, as far as attention span goes, like paying attention to the show, being in it, loving all of it, it was Watain. They just their obscurity really just captured my attention. But anyways, I think they played a lot from this album at that show. But front to back, dude, I love this one, Lawless Darkness. It opens up with the badass song, Death's Cold Dark, goes right into the hit single off of this, Malfeitor. Um, Still one of my favorite Watain tracks. Into Reaping Death, Four Thrones, probably another one of my favorite Watain tracks. Um, and it just keeps going on, man. And it's, like I said, in my opinion, this is flawless Watain. This is my 10. So,
Okay.
what do you think about this record?
You're probably gonna hate me.
Oh,
Um, so I do love Malfador because that was like the first one, like after the concert you guys showed me Cell of Horror, but I didn't know what album it was on. Uh, then I found Malfador with the cool that has that awesome melodic riff part of it. Um, Death's Cold Dark was good, but something about this album it didn't stick with me as much as Sworn to the Dark. I think it is because it feels like Sworn to the Dark has a more leans more on the deathy side and like
mm,
the aggressiveness. This is it's still Watain, it's still aggressive. It feels like instead of the deathiness, focuses more on the melodic parts. So
yeah, for sure.
that part I wasn't as much into. It's still a great album, um, but for me, it since it is right next to Sworn to the Dark, so I'm gonna rank it a little bit lower. Um, I'm probably gonna give this. Let's do a 9 out of
Nice.
not not completely fucking it up because I know this is probably this is your
Hey, man, you just give your opinion. That's all that matters.
uh in mine. I would probably give it an 8. I'll do it
Oh, come on, Jeff. What do you know?
because for me, there's
No.
one other album I like more, but I
Okay,
will get to that.
sweet. Uh, did you happen to catch the Opus Diaboli DVD they released in between this album and one that follows.
I saw it down there, but I didn't check it out since I saw it was live. I didn't know if there was going
It's
to
a
be any newer
great,
songs.
yeah, it's a great live DVD, man. I don't watch a lot of bands DVDs anymore, but I mean, me and Caleb were in a big Watain phase at this time, so he got it. And we fucking watched it one night. Pretty badass, really enjoyable. But yeah, anyways. Next album, The Wild Hunt comes out in 2013. And this, I think, I would say is kind of when they got, I don't want to say like mainstream, but pretty mainstream attention. And it had
Hmm.
a ton of hype going into it. And fun fact about this album, it's based on a book by Cormac McCarthy,
Okay,
um, called Blood Meridian, I believe.
that sounds very familiar.
I want to say it's based on that book. And so, and again, at the time, Caleb, he was a big reader more than I was, and especially Cormac McCarthy. Um, I'm gonna give this a Google I just want to make sure I'm not throwing this out there and spitting some wrong facts on here. So let me just look this up real quick and verify. Uh, I know he doesn't. So what I'm saying is he's not mentioning the book yet, but there's an interview that it's on Metal Injection. It's like the first thing that pops up. Any of those that are interested in checking that out. Um, I don't know. Now that I say that, I'm not seeing a book mentioned anywhere. But I swear there was a book related mention. Um, anyways, yeah, so that may be false. But anyways, Wild Hunt, it's a good album. I thought it was very interesting front to back. Um, Not one of my favorites. I think the hype was a little bit stronger than what the music was for me. Um, it got kind of like the song Outlaw. I liked it after a while, but initially I wasn't really into it. I didn't like the title. I was like, it's mild cringe factor there, but it's Watain. It's like they're not coming out the gate like Outlaw, like any corniness to that by any means. It's more just, I don't know, just gnarly shit to them, or I don't know. But sorry, I don't know where I'm going with this. What do you think about this album?
I actually, uh, so at first I did not like this album. However, listening to it this past week, I actually really like this album. I
Okay.
think it has a lot of like a lot of things I liked about Sworn to the Black. I feel like was on here, just more polished. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about almost making this my 10 until I got
Mm-hmm.
into some of the other tracks that for me made it stumble, and it's where they got a little bit experimental. And I
Mm-hmm.
understand being experimental, but how they approached it, it's like, all right, this is a little too much all at once. So I'll start off with the good. The good is Night Vision, De Profundis, Black Flames March. Great start to the album. First three songs.
Oh yeah.
Um, then there's and also the song Outlaw. That was that's a great song. I remember even watching the videos like, oh, this gets you pumped. Because I remember listening to it first, like, I don't like this. It's not about the videos, like it made it all click. Until now, every time I start, I hear that yeah,
Yeah.
and like, yeah, I have
Yeah.
to chant it. It gets me
Yeah.
going. But
Yeah, dude.
the issues I have with this starts on They Rode On, which
Mm.
he introduces the clean vocals. It's not bad, and I don't mind it at all. But it's the fact that it's clean vocals the entirety of this, I think, 7 minute long song. It's like, okay, I get it. I mean, it's not bad. And then it goes into Sleepless Evil, goes back to normal Watain. But then the clean vocals come right back again in the Wild Hunt. It's like, okay, I understand if you made it for one song, like 7 minutes long is kind of long, but I kind of get it. But you're gonna just throw all these clean vocals at us all at once with these two almost back to back long songs. I felt like it was a little
Yeah.
too much for black metal for me, so that threw it off for me. So I'm gonna give this an 8.5. It would be a perfect 10 because I feel like all the normal Watain songs on here are great. It's those two threw me off too much.
I uh I think that they released All That May Bleed as a single from this, and I think that that was like, I don't know if I was connecting it to Suicide Silence, like No Time to Bleed or something like that, but I just thought that like All That May Bleed, I'm just like, "Ah, come on, man, it's just kind of too generic. Like, what are you guys
Yeah.
doing?" And so I was kind of off put by that. I didn't even really get into that single. And then I heard They Wrote On, and I was like, what the fuck are you guys doing? And it kind of was off the rails, especially for a black metal band to do this. But years after this sitting, I will say, like, props to them for the
hmm
balls for being that raw, nasty black metal band and releasing a track of only cleans. It's like, what other nasty black metal band is doing that? None of them. And so,
hmm
for those reasons, it's like, it didn't dethrone them. And so and you just kind of deal with it because it's not a bad song. It still kind of meshes, even though it
hmm
is weird and we hadn't heard it before. But yeah, it oddly worked. Just a weird route, a really weird route that they took, I'll say. But yeah, all in all, I think I'd give this album an 8.
Okay.
But it's not my favorite Watain, but it is an interesting Watain.
All
What'd
right.
you give this one?
I get an 8.5
Oh, okay, sweet.
because, like I said, for me, I thought it was nearly perfect. I didn't have the same kind of thinking because like you, I came into it because just came out by the time I got into them, and I wasn't really too into it because I heard Outlaws like, eh, it was too chaotic for me at once. This is a brand new world for me of non mayhem black metal because that was at the time that I didn't listen to much black metal. So this was a little too much for me at the time. It wasn't until I went back to Sworn to Black and Lawless Darkness. Like, okay, this is the section I'll stay in. This is the Watain I like. So I never went back to
Yeah,
this album. It wasn't until recently. So it would have been a perfect 10 at this new listen, but it's and like you said, they were on. It's not a bad song. It's just I feel for me, it's just too much change all at once. I understood if they would have
yeah,
just did they rode on, but then they also do it on Wild Hunt. Very much throws me off.
right. It is kind of off-putting for sure, but
Mm-hmm. All right.
definitely interesting. Next is Trident Wolf Eclipse, and this dropped in 2018. So quite a bit of break from Watain in that time. 5 years, I think. So,
Mm-hmm.
and they dropped this with their first single that was released was Nuclear Alchemy with a fucking banger of a video to go with it. And it's like, boom, back to fucking being Watain full blast. Um, just as good, man. That song. Now, the album, it loses me. And I kind of hate that. Like, it's a really good single, man. Very powerful, but I just don't feel like they caught that catchiness throughout the rest of this album like other albums that I've heard from Watain. Did you stick on this one a lot or?
I am actually of the exact same thinking. Because I remember obviously I got into Watain during Wild Hunt. Then there's that long period, so I had a lot of hype when I have heard that this was coming out. Nuclear Alchemy drops like, oh, this is gonna be fucking sick. Was so excited for it. Came out, and I was very underwhelmed. I
Hmm.
wanted to like it so much because I had so much hype, but I was like, oh, I finally get to be part of the group when this new Watain comes out. But just something about this, it just doesn't stick as much to me.
Yeah.
I get I get bored about halfway through the second song. Uh, but it's that
Hmm.
first song is like it gets you, but I don't know. I have a hard time with this album.
Yeah, I do too. I definitely like to listen to it again just to, because I'm a huge Walktain fan, but yeah, man, I don't know. It just doesn't stick. So I'd probably give this one a 7.5.
Um, I think I might give this a 6.5 because I feel like it's almost close to just like that would be like the average. It's almost like the if I were just coming up with a Watain album, but I want it to be just average, this is kind of what I would put it as. So you had what you said 7?
Yeah, I'll give it a 7.
All right, so we're gonna
I
say
said 7.5, but I'll stay
oh, okay.
7. Fuck it.
Okay. Just 1 second. So 7 or 7.5.
7. I'm gonna pee real quick.
All right.
Alrighty. We're down to one more.
Newest one.
The Agony and Ecstasy of Watain. It sounds like it would be a compilation album.
Yeah, or even I would almost think like a live DVD,
Right, yeah.
like one of those ones where it has like the touring in between concerts videos and stuff.
Yeah, for sure. And this just dropped 2 years ago. Um,
Hmm.
2022 release. And it's okay. It's not a bad Watain album. I mean, it still sounds like Watain. They're not doing anything too crazy different. They're not, clean singing. But they're back to their chaotic selves. Decent album, although again, unfortunately, not a lot sticking with me. I know it starts off pretty strong, Ecstasies and Night Infinite, and then you have The Howling, which I think is probably the biggest track on this album. Um, Pretty good song. And then Saramosa, I really like that one. So again, strong start, but it just doesn't stay for me. What about you?
So I would kind of I'd have some agreements. I feel like it's for me it's different songs. I feel like this album, at first I did not like this when it came out. I felt like it was an extension of Trident Wolf Eclipse, almost like Watain's version of generic for them, to where it doesn't feel like anything's sticking out. It does open good, like you'd expect a Watain album to start off with Ecstasies in the Nighttime, The Howling. Um, Kind of the middle is kind of where I got lost. Is like I don't really care too much about it. It kind of picked back up for me around before the Cataclysm. It's a kind of a longer song, but somehow it's still like gets you. There's a lot going on, so it keeps you more interested. The thing that stuck out to me the most on this album, and it was I think Risk, kind of like with they did with They Rode On. That was the song We Remain, where they
Hmm.
it's not really black metal. It kind of is, but it's not. It's more focusing on like a doomy gothic, and it has this female singer through most of it, almost doing like a almost like a call or singing, but almost like calling out. And it just that's what really made it for me. Kind of made this album above Trident Wolf Eclipse for me was that song. It was an epicness. Is where I feel like They Rode On and the Wild Hunt they took those ideas like well, let's see if we can make it better. I think having that female vocals doing it adds like a seductive like woman worship kind of thing to it kind of thing,
Hmm.
which I think adds more layers to it, makes it cooler for me. So yeah, it's I would put this almost on par with Triangle Cliffs, but maybe like a step up because there are some like the risk of We Remain, and then there are some a little bit of more catchiness in this album for me. So I'd give this
Okay.
maybe a let's do a 7.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm kind of right there with you. To me, it sounded more interesting than Trident Wolf Eclipse did, anyways. And so, I think I didn't remember that song, so I'm gonna have to give this one another listen, like front to back, and really pay my respects. And I'll probably get back into it this fall. I always get into, with winter
But
time, and I always get in my big black metal phase when it gets cold out. It's cold
yeah,
on the mountain. Yeah.
I do recommend We Remain because that is out of left field, and it for me it sticks. I can see where some people would be pissed off, like why is Watain doing this kind of thing? But for me, I thought it was refreshing. It didn't take away from like the mysticness that Watain tries to, which I feel has kind of been missing. I feel like there wasn't as much mysticism with or mystic feel with Trident Wolf Eclipse. Maybe that's what it is that's missing. I feel
Yeah.
like to where Swarms of the Dark, Lawless Darkness, Wild Hunt had almost like this evil,
True.
mystical, magical thing. To where Trident Wolf Eclipse just felt like blunt force, not really a lot behind it kind of thing. And this
Very
album
true.
has, yeah, and I feel
Yeah,
like
because
We
like,
Remain as that.
yeah, that's a really good point because like even their live set back then, I mean, maybe they still do this, but like, and I know it's just a fog machine, but there's something about the fog like settling right above the stage as they're walking out, and like it just fits their theme so well, like the mysticism, like you're saying. I definitely hear that in this one too. Like the background ambience is more prominent again, whereas Trident Wolf Eclipse, it's just balls through the wall, uh, punchy metal. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, and they may even do that on that album too. I'm just not remembering it that well, but yeah. I just like took a gander at that We Remain. And it's odd how closely it opens up to Stellivore, right? Like the drum.
Mm-hmm.
Dude,
Yeah,
I
and
was
it's
like,
something about
whoa.
that female singer just catching you up, like you're not expecting her just in a female voice in a Watain album, but I feel like
Yeah,
it
but it fits.
adds to it.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Good
What
point.
are you wanting to give this
Um,
one?
I think I'm gonna give it a 7.8, just for
Okay,
shits and
so we're
gigs.
at a 14.8. Gotta shift things up again. Oh,
Yeah, and for some reason, all the titles on this album, like it just mildly drives me nuts, but like the first word letter is capitalized and the rest is just lower font. It's like it's very minute. But like on the other albums, like they're capitalizing every first letter of every word. So it's like,
mm-hmm.
come on, why'd you change that? Why?
I feel like that's normal for most bands where it is to where every, I guess the first letter is always capitalized, but every other word is also always capitalized. So yeah, I
Yeah,
don't know, is that intentional or
I don't know. Yeah, I always wonder if it was intentional or if they forgot to capitalize that before they sent it off for the official titles. Fuck,
because
who
even on
knows?
Trident Wolf Eclipse, it's that normal way. It's not the new way. Yeah, all their other
And then you
albums has.
and then you have bands like Acacia Strain that'll capitalize every letter of every word.
It's for pronunci. It's for to be in your face. They're shouting it.
Yeah, yeah. Read the tone. So
All
that's
right.
Watain.
Mm-hmm.
20 years. It's essentially is how long they've been kicking. Yeah,
Pretty.
man. Huge black metal band for me. Huge band for my whole metal progression throughout the years. Been sticking with these guys for quite a while now, man. Big fan. Can't wait to see them again.
Mm-hmm.
Hope we get to sometime.
Yeah, I wish they because didn't they do the that tour again recently, like a few years ago, like the
Yeah, they
Black Metal
did, but they did
Warfare.
not. Yeah, but they did not come near us. They
Yeah,
kind of dodged the Mist West on that one, I think. So
it's
I
fine.
was down for it, and I think it was with Mayhem again, wasn't it?
Yeah, I want to say it was Mayhem and Watain. I feel like it was a different
Yeah.
opener though.
Yeah,
It
I
was
can't remember.
Revenge last time.
Yeah, that's right. That band was wild.
Ooh, I think it was Rotting Christ, wasn't it? Was on
Oh
the
yeah.
other leg.
Yeah, that is
That
right.
would have been
Now that I
great.
think about it. That would have been cool to see, for sure.
Yeah, this is Watain. Got sworn to the is it dark or black? I can't I always mix it up.
Sworn to the Dark.
Sworn to the Dark at number one, Lawless Darkness number two, number three is Wild Hunt. So yeah, kind of there. So it seems
Stasis
like
Luciferi,
yeah,
I guess.
that one, Agony and Ecstasy of Watain, then Trident Wolf Eclipse, then Rabid Death's Curse.
I think that's a pretty good list. I like that.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, then next week we had talked about doing Deicide. Uh, if things change, things change. We'll keep you guys posted. You have anything to add before I start
No,
plugging away?
we may have a special guest feature. I don't know if we want to announce it.
I can't confirm or deny. Um,
It might
I don't know.
happen.
I
It
always
might
worry
not.
based off of that one time.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Never
Fuck
know.
that band, by the way. No, I'm just kidding.
But so far, he's been very respondent. So,
Yeah, no, I think we're looking pretty good. Stay tuned next week for a special appearance maybe. We'll see.
mhm.
It might happen. It might
Yep,
not. But yeah. Yeah,
yep.
I think
Keep
that's yeah, I don't know, man.
all right. So, if you like this episode, if you like to support us, go support us by following us on Facebook as Death Metal Daddies. You can subscribe to us here on Spotify or on Castbox or on Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts
Fix,
from. What's
yes.
up?
Oh, I just said fix wherever you get your
Uh,
fix.
yeah, and if you know you're part of the like Gen Z or Gen Alpha and just had to have your TikToks, we're also on TikTok with
Oh yeah,
daily posts. If you want just like
content.
a little quick
Wow.
snippet. We're
We
also
have
on
enough to
YouTube.
do daily content?
Yeah, I have an
That's
app.
crazy. Wow,
I'll,
that's
I'll
awesome.
delete this part out, but yeah, I have an app that does it for me. I just submit the YouTube link, and it'll create like viral clips and stuff, and then I can set a
Sweet.
calendar, like post these videos on these websites this day, this day, this day, this day. I have it
Sweet.
currently. I have it set to I think next Wednesday.
That's awesome, man. Hell yeah.
Yeah,
Shout out to
check us out on
TikToks.
YouTube. Yeah, check us out on TikToks, YouTubes, um,
Pornhub, X videos. I think we're
OnlyFans,
on there too. Yeah.
Farmers Meat,
Hell yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Until
Christian
next
singles.
time, we're
Until next time.
pew 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 pew
Meow.
pew down 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 down.
Is this a snowman? Do you have a carrot on your face? Do you have coal for eyes?